girl magic. Ooh, you the baddest. Sun kissed, heaven sent, words don't do justice. I could go on and on and on, talking about that black girl magic, black girl magic. Ooh, you the baddest. Sun kissed, heaven sent, words don't do justice. I could go on and on and on.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Reinvented, with another dope episode of the Reason Why podcast. Let's talk about it. Okay, the gang's all here.
The gang is all
Gang,
here.
gang, 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 gang. It's the gang for me. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
So, glad we finally came on live to engage with our followers. My name is Cherie, aka Reinvented. This is the Reason Why podcast, and I am here with my co-hosts. I'll let you guys go.
I'm Donna, your favorite auntie. You know, we are here discussing the big why today, and so happy to have y'all here on live.
Hi, I'm Kai, just Kai, here discussing the big why today. Thank y'all for joining us and check us out. We really, really appreciate y'all for joining our live today.
Hey everyone, I'm Lenitris, also known as Dopens Lala, checking in today. Hoping that you guys are tuned in and you can kind of really get open with us and learn why we're healing and what's our reason why.
All right. So the big why is I thought it would be a good idea for our viewers to know why we're doing what we're doing, why we are committed to changing our lives. Why is it so important to us to transition into that new mindset, that new way of life, that new circle of friends or what have you. And, the dangers of what would happen if we don't, if we just stay where we are right now or where our life was, how would that, how detrimental would that be? And I guess I'll start. So my why started about seven or so years ago. I realized that I was pretty much in a dark place for decades. Pretty much all my life. My children were teenagers at the time, but I remember, my daughter, she was like 7 or 8 years old, and she was like, "Mom, why you don't hug me?" You know what I mean? And it's like something simple as that, where, you're like, wow, like I am really like carrying some shit with me, this is not fair to my children. I was just angry, just snappy all the time, everything agitated me. Everything was aggravating, so it was like, nah, I don't want to do this. So I started going to therapy and, just going to see a therapist. And I was doing that for a little while, and I found out that wasn't enough for me. So, I went deeper into the rabbit hole to pull myself out, So I went and I checked myself into a hospital. Mental institution. I locked myself in there, and I did that program. It was a traumas program for women, and it changed my life. It really opened up some doors for me. That's when I found out that I had social anxiety. I just thought I was just aggravated and didn't want to be bothered with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew, and I didn't understand why. Like I have very social parents, and like I remember, going places with my mom or going to the grocery store. She would just talk to these strangers, and I would be like, "Mom," and I didn't have a problem with her talking to him, but then she would pull me into it. Yeah, because my daughter and this, and I'm like, "Mom, stop doing that." And I didn't understand why I was so angry at her for doing that, but it was like, I guess that was my nerves. That was my anxiety, that it was like, oh my gosh, you're about to put the spotlight on me and all of that. So Anyway, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself going through that program, and I was able to unpack quite a few. I learned some coping skills. I learned a lot about, you know, what was going on with me, because a lot of times we're going through this stuff and we're in this dark place and we don't really understand. We don't know why are, you know, we're so miserable. You know, like I used to watch people in the grocery stores, you know, picking strawberries, just smiling, just to, yeah, and it's like, what is you so happy for? Like, go home with all that happiness, you know? So I didn't understand it. No, it used to drive me crazy. So it's like, you know, because I was miserable. You know, you don't realize that you're miserable until you go and get the work done, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I was really like miserable. So my why was, I knew that I couldn't stay in that space. I couldn't stay in that that mental space, you know, and it wasn't just for me, it was for my children. So my children were important to me, and they were important enough to where I had to make a change. It was detrimental for me to, you know, save a relationship with my children. I didn't want my kids to grow up and not want to have anything to do with me. You know what I mean? So that was my why.
Okay. Well, my big why on my journey started when I got engaged, which is kind of funny. I was engaged and ready to get married, and then I realized I was a fucking mess. Like, I was a hot doggone mess. And me and my fiance was fighting all the time, and I had got to the point where I was tired of fighting, and I really kind of snapped one day. And my brother, my big brother, bless his heart, they called him and he was like, send her to the hospital. And I was mad at first, but then I realized it was probably the best thing that happened to me, because when I got there, that's when I realized that I had been dealing with PTSD and depression. And I had never knew about it. And so all the things that happened to me as a child started coming up into my relationships, both intimate relationships and just relationships with people, period. Like, when someone did something wrong, I was ready to spaz out. But once I learned about me having PTSD and the depression, then it started helping me in a different way, to where I was like, you know what, I got to do something different in my life. Because here I am, your favorite auntie, happy with the babies, happy with the children, the teenagers. But inside, I was a hot doggone mess. So that's what started my big why and my journey on healing. And then when I became a mom, I went even harder for it, because what I did not want for my daughter is to have to suffer the same thing that I was suffering through. I did not want her to be worried about any type of mental illness or not knowing how to cope with it. And again, you know, you guys know I'm all for no medication. So it's all about talk therapy, holistic healing. And so that was my big why. That part right there, when I was engaged and knew that relationships for me was not the same as everybody else, that's when I had to take a step back and say, Donna, what are you doing? You have to do something different. You definitely have to break this generational curse, because you do not want your child to have to go through it. And so that's what made my big why, just that. And then it enhanced when my mom left, because my mom said to me something on her dying bed that has stuck with me. And she said, you're just like me. And one thing about my mom is my mom was a strong woman, and I will never dispute that. But my mom kept everything that was going on with her inside. And so I decided that I wasn't going to be silent, because if I'm going to be silent, it's going to kill me silently. So I started talking about what triggers me. I started talking about what's going on with me. Whether people wanted to hear it or not, I'm talking about it, because once I release it off of me, then I know that God is listening to me, and that's when my healing is going to come.
Right.
So,
all right.
Yeah,
okay.
That's my big why.
I love it.
Come on, Kai. What's your big why?
Oh, my big why is mainly my kids is my big why, because, you know, after COVID and all of that happened, I kind of like realized I was really angry about a lot of stuff, and I was like the yeller. You know, when you come from a yeller, you come from a household of yelling, you don't really think that shit is dysfunctional. You just think that shit is regular.
It's
so
normal,
for me,
right?
it was regular.
It's normal.
So it was normal for me to just be blasting my kids all the time and, you know, just doing things. But it's one thing that happened in particular. My son, we had some words one day, and we just, you know, he had me so upset, and as usual, you know, I was flowing on his ass and just going in, you know what I'm saying? Like we normally do. And I'll never forget the way he just articulated his emotions to me, just as a man, and just said to me how it made him feel and how, you know, it broke him down a little bit. He just felt like, you know, it just fucked me up. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, for him to tell me how he felt, and it was just like, okay. Because at the end of the day, I felt like, you know, I don't want my kids to grow up, and I just thought about the stories that they'll have to tell. Like, I don't want my kids to grow up and be around their friends and tell stories like, yeah, my mother was always mad, you know, she was always yelling, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like I couldn't do that, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to be the wicked witch, right?
Right.
Yes. And then, you know, with Drew, you know, she was a girl, so I had to learn how to handle her. So I had to really like go back into my childhood and how it made me feel while my mother was yelling and going in. You know, like I said, like Diamond said, I wouldn't take nothing from my mom because she was amazing, but she also kept everything to herself. She went in the bathroom and cried. Everything was to herself. I never saw my mom break down. I think the only time I ever saw her break down is when her parents passed away. But as far as juggling life, just life in general, that was never shown in front of me at all. I saw her just, you know, do what she had to do. So, and naturally, I internalized the same thing. But when I also had Drew, it's like I said, this little girl, you know, I'm responsible for her emotions and how she gonna be out here and engage in certain relationships and friendships. And I can't keep showing her this hard external person because that's not what's going, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to suffice for her out in the real world because she's going to have to learn how to love. She's going to learn how to be able to share because that was literally the reason why I am. Well, I'm not going to say I am because at the end of the day, I am healing and transitioning from who I was.
Hey.
So I'm going to say that is why I was going through so many things because I wasn't internalizing the things that I had going on with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard for us as Black women to admit that something is wrong. It's so hard for us to say that, you know, we broken. It's so hard for us to say that we sad, that we've been sad. You know what I'm saying? And so many of us have the same story, and yet we use it against each other. And it ain't nothing but insecurities. It's just loud insecurities that we use against each other, thinking, oh, we this, we that, and not even realizing like it bothers you because something is wrong. You know, it bothers you because there's something in you that you have not addressed yet, you know. So for me, it was like I can't stay the way I was staying. You know, I felt like I was just standing still and everything was moving. And I just could not stay that way. Like, it was to the point where I was literally pleading and crying to God, like, please, I can't stay this way because this is no longer working for me. You know, trying to do it this way, confiding in people. It was like I felt like I had to shed everything and damn near everybody in order for me to get some peace of mind. And I know a lot of people probably look at me now and think, oh, I'm trying to be funny, but it really wasn't even about nobody at all. It was literally about me and what I needed to do for myself and how I needed to feel because I was not happy with who I was. I was struggling, and there were people around me every single day and did not know that I was literally falling apart.
I swear.
Like, there were people around me every day, and I was functioning like a regular person every single day, a month close. And didn't even know
the tears of
a bitch was falling completely apart in front of you.
Tears of a clown.
That is so scary for me because now that I'm like out of that person and looking out into and I see people, that shit is scary for me because it's like, yo, it's the worst place to ever be in. It's the worst place to ever be in. And if you don't have the right people around you or the right sense within yourself to say, you know what, enough is enough, you can end up doing some of the craziest things. You can't end up, unfortunately, hurting yourself because this shit is real. Like, this mental shit is real. And I just, like I said, I had to change. And for me, I can't go back. You know, it's an eye opener. It's been a lot. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's been ugly. It's been sad. It's been crying. It's been happy. It's been aha. It's been damn, really.
And
But
you ready to get off the roller coaster? I'm ready to get off this roller coaster.
No, it's like it's a roller coaster you can't get off. At the end of the day, you have to stay in your seat because it's like if you go back, what's back there? You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't even gonna lie, Lala. I've been using your damn method that you gave us, theory with the parking lot. I done used it like 3 damn times with people talking about you need
It
a parking
works for
lot.
me.
And
It
I've
works
been
for
like,
me.
it was to the point where I told myself today, shit, you need the parking lot too, bitch. You telling everybody else to parking lot. You need the
You
parking
talking
lot.
like them thoughts.
So what's the parking lot? I mean,
Well,
wait, let Lala do her thing, but then tell us about the parking lot, Lala.
Alrighty. So, first of all, I'll tell you guys. For me, my why was super duper tricky, and it let me know exactly why I needed to do something different. So initially, when I thought about my why, it was about everybody else. It was to be a better parent. It was to be, you know, a better companion for when I'm in a relationship. It was to be a better, role model for all those people that just look up to me and have all these expectations of me. I wanted to be better for everybody else, but I realized how? How can I be better for everybody else if I can't be better for just me? So my why is me. Me looking back and saying, you went through all different forms of abuse as a child. You went through things that you didn't even realize was abuse. People yelling at you, talking down to you. Yeah, that's abuse, baby. It's more than violence. It's more than
Right.
physical abuse. And honestly,
yeah.
I would have rather been physically abused than to be torn down emotionally and
Ooh,
mentally. And,
girl, you
and,
better
and
say it.
that those things are forever and ever. Like
Yep.
I could put a band-aid on somebody scratching me up. I could get
All
over a black
the
eye.
physical
Right.
But
abuse,
when
right?
people tear
But
you
that
up from the
mental.
inside, it's like you don't. There's no band-aid
It
for
get
that.
in your
No.
head.
It's
It
stuck
start
in
festering
your
and
head.
growing and
Right,
making babies
right,
and shit.
right. So I had to realize that I was, I had to realize the difference between the people pleaser and the peacekeeper and the, how to do things for me first, how to take care of me first, and how it required me to understand me, be strong for me,
Me.
respect me,
Right.
love me. And now
Yes.
I can look at my children and now I can say, hey, have you looked in the mirror lately? Do you know who you looking at? Do you know who you playing with when you looking at you? Do people know who you are? Because you got to know who you are.
Yeah.
So
Right.
a long time out after a 17-year relationship in divorce, I took time out just to figure out who I was and what it was about me. And come to find out, I'm pretty fucking dope,
What you
y'all. Like,
talking
I
about?
got a
And you
lot
better
going
say
Fuck
it
you
on.
talking
now.
about?
Yes,
Listen.
ma'am.
Say that
Fuck you talking about?
Is and is.
shit.
So now I got, I got a whole bunch of mojo, a whole bunch of confidence, a whole bunch of lessons. I took time out to join a bunch of seminars, attended a bunch of classes. I went into counseling and therapy. Like I did everything that I felt was beneficial for me. Even this, joining with a force of amazing women that have background stories not far from mine that were able to say, look, we got some shit going on and other people can do this too.
Right.
Other people can overcome things. Now, I tell you, I say it all the time. If somebody tells you that um, they're past it, they're healed, and they're fixed already, they're lying.
Very much so.
Well, healing
It
is a
never goes in.
journey.
It
Healing is
never
a
Healing is
goes
a
journey. It's
journey,
not a
and it's
I
not a
destination.
always say
destination.
It's
that.
not. It's a
It's not a
journey.
destination. People
with,
think like it's a
Like
destination.
and, it,
I've
It's not a
arrived.
destination.
I'm here.
and it's so
It's
many people that
levels
are
to this shit,
so,
baby. It's levels.
yeah,
You got a
it's so
whole
much
nother level. You got
dishonesty.
levels to go.
It's,
Heck
I always
it's
have to
yeah.
say
so much
that. That's
dishonesty.
why it gets under my butt when people say, "Come to me healed." It'd be like, you don't people to me be the broken, the
The most
most
Right.
broken,
Them the
because
ones you
Right.
run
at
from.
the end of the day,
Stay away
you have
from
to
those type of people.
understand
I have to leave away
healing
from those
is
type of
not
people.
some linear thing. You know what I'm saying?
no.
It's
Right.
something you have to do and work at every single day. And I think that's the reason why so many people tell themselves that they're fixed. Because to really go into this shit and really, it strips you. You be
Mm-hmm.
butt ass naked. It strips you of all that shit. Pride, thinking you
Yeah.
this, you that shit leaves you
Mm-mm.
all the way naked out here. And you
Naked
have
and
to face
and
all the
unashamed.
shit that you felt that you tried to put void. You know what I'm saying? Everything you tried to hide, everything you do to push it out, you have to confront it and be right there and in your face. And a lot of people ain't ready for that. And I get it. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of times I'm like, man, this some
I
bullshit. But at
hear
the
it.
end of the day,
Yeah, but
it's
I
like,
get
what
I
else
get
you
it.
gonna do?
I'm like the worst person because I understand both sides of the fence, and I don't do it to make people upset or think that I'm crazy or anything, but I feel like that is another recognition of how far I've come and who I am, because I can see things from multiple sides of the fence. I feel it from multiple sides of the fence, and that's just showing us how the world works and
Right.
how real mental health is, and how mental health is always looked down on, like it's so bad. Like if you say mental health, they be like, oh, the bitch crazy, oh,
Okay.
whatever. Like, you crazy, your
Right.
mother crazy, your grandmother crazy, your
Yeah.
aunt crazy, they mother was crazy.
Okay.
If that's the case, it is
Because
what it
this
is.
generation's deep. This comes down
Right,
from slavery.
right,
We got post traumatic slave disorder.
exactly,
Yeah.
What you
Yes.
talking
exactly,
about? Like, come on
Right.
now.
exactly.
And
So
Right.
anybody
that's
We grew
who
up
don't
in
see
it,
that, it's something up with
We're
them.
It
right,
is
raised in it.
definitely something up with
right.
them.
This
We're
is
So
literally
to piggyback
raised
off
up
of
in trauma.
Yeah. So to piggyback off of what you were saying, I was one of those people that I went through counseling, and I went through therapy, and I got baptized and went through Bible studies, and I was like,
the
ooh,
whole rigmarole.
I must be fixed now. And then I
Girl,
would
that's
see
just the
people
beginning.
and I would hear things
Hell
and
to
stuff
the
would be going
no.
on, and I would be like, oh shit, what was that made me that angry? What was that? Then I had to learn that's a trigger. That's PTSD.
Right.
That's that shit that don't go away. You're not fixed from it. You just have to fix your environment, fix your thinking, fix what you've been working on with yourself, and know when you got to catch back up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So to get into that, y'all, what helped me with some of my thoughts was developing what I call the parking lot. So I'm one of those people. I multitask. I'm constantly working on so many different things. Like, I'm working now, so if you hear noise, I'm so sorry. But I am a songwriter, and I do this music stuff. But I have so many thoughts in my head. I'm worried about myself. I'm worried about my kids. I'm worried about the job. I'm worried about how to be successful, how to make more money, how to stay healthy, how to not be fat, right? That's too much to be thinking at one time. So what I would do is prioritize my thoughts and say, all right, so we're working on 1 through 5 right now, and all this 6 through 1,000, put that shit in a parking lot.
Right.
Because it really be
Put that
Uh,
over there to the side.
Park
so
it.
Take
that's
care
the
of
parking lot.
one through
right.
five first, and then boom, let's look over there and see what you could pull over and work on right now. You cannot work on 1,000 things at one time, and I really, really struggle with that. And I say
Me too.
thank you, Ree, because some of the things that I was blind to, you really brought to my attention. Like, well, how did you think you was gonna do that? Like, I really do a whole lot of things at one time, and Rhea be like,
Black
did
woman
you really have to do that right
syndrome.
Yeah.
now? Do you have to do that? And I'll be
Yeah, be
like,
like, what is going on? Like, what?
Mhm.
Come on now.
do you ever rest? Do you ever do anything? Like, I
But the
struggle.
thing
I struggle
is,
with it.
I'm able to see it in other people, but I'm not able to see it in myself. Like, so when I'm
Always,
losing sleep
always.
and I'm
Always, because
up for
we're our biggest
days,
critics.
and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I ain't been to sleep since the yesterday morning. I'm just like,
Mhm.
don't nobody see that part. They be like, oh, well, she's lucky. Lucky, I'm tired.
Right,
Right. I'm
right,
tired. I'm ready to cut somebody out. I'm really
right,
trying to be nice,
right.
but listen.
It's so
I get
unfortunate because
it.
as a woman, as a single mother, and as a woman, I have said to people close to me, I am tired. I'm sad today. I'm upset.
Right,
Hmm.
I can't do this all the time like this. I need help. They be like, nah, you got it. You help me.
right.
Hey,
Yep.
you do
You
this with
can't.
Wait,
It's
me.
hard
wait.
being a
I
strong
respect
Hey,
this
friend.
one.
because you
You're
figure it out.
strong.
It's
You're
hard being a strong
strong.
friend.
Come on, you're strong. You can make it through
You
I
this.
got
You
it.
swear.
got
You
this.
always
I
do it.
do.
You
Or
gonna be all right.
wait. Or the favorite one. Girl, you done been through worse than this.
Right.
Girl,
Right.
I'll be like,
yes.
bitch, because I've been through worse. I ain't supposed to be mad right now.
Right.
Right.
I
Like,
like, do you not understand? I'm right with y'all winging this shit. Like, a lot of the time,
right.
I don't even know how I made it through a lot of the stuff that I went
Right.
through. It's like, we don't, that's what I just talked about, that black woman, that strong black
That
woman
was
syndrome. Like,
syndrome.
we all live it and we swear by it. And it is the shit that literally has been killing us.
Yeah.
It is the shit that had literally been breaking our own hearts because we feel like we have to do everything. But when you think about half of the things that we endure on a daily basis and what we deal with, what are we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What else way we know how to be? It's so sad though, because it's like that's all we were taught, how to be strong black
Strong black
women. So it's like
women.
now you got all these topics coming up where it's submissive and feminine and we looking around like, what's that?
What?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? What is
Because
that?
You want me to
like,
Because that
but
wasn't in my
look,
I've been
household.
just
fighting
yesterday
all
you
my
wanted me
life.
to
What's all
lead
of
the
that?
whole pack.
You
Now
feel
today
me?
you want me to submit. What the hell you want me to do? Look.
Like, I literally just got through with saying, like, you know, you have your father telling you, be strong, be independent, don't depend on no man to do nothing for you. You know, you got to have your own. Then you got your mama telling you, be strong, be independent, don't you
Depend on
depend
nobody.
on no man for nothing. Now we grown, we supposed to be submissive. We
Right.
supposed to be feminine.
No,
We supposed to
Y'all
no,
been
now you
telling
you
me
grown
women
and
back
you're
you got
supposed to
my
people
walk
that'll
in
whole
your
tell you,
divine
damn life.
don't you
feminine.
got
Let
a
that man do
man to do
it.
it? Don't you got a man to do that for you? Why you do that for yourself?
Right.
Why you do
Right.
everything
Look,
by
but
yourself?
here's the
Why you
thing: being
carrying
independent, you
stuff?
done ran that man away because you talking about something. I got
Right,
it. What is you
right.
trying to do? I
Right.
got this, and now
Right.
the man is
Right.
gone, and now you sitting here like, so who am I supposed to submit to?
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. No,
Yes.
so that's where, like, I found out, like, for me, and not like with Kai, like with what she's saying, like, come to me healed. I need that type of guy who's already been doing some work on himself. You know what I mean? Like, has already
Absolutely. Now
been,
that I can agree with.
addressing some of the issues that he's been dealing with, whether it's, daddy syndrome, whether it's mommy syndrome, whether it's, they left me at the doctors or whatever. I need for you to know what's going on with you and have been, trying to do some work on it. Other than that, it's like, there's a very strong chance that your issues are gonna trigger mine.
Yeah.
And then that's when
We
you
bleed
see
on each
me on
other.
some, super strong stuff, and then that's when you think that I can't be submissive. But I actually like being submissive. I enjoy it.
Hello.
I
Right.
enjoy it. Like, I'll be wanting to, like, let me cater to you, baby.
Right.
What can I do for you?
Let me
You
ask
know
my
what I'm
man
saying?
about that
Let me
first, girl.
I love it. I love being in that element, but it's like, to find someone that makes you safe enough to be able to operate in that space.
Right.
Right.
You said the key word safe, because a lot of us black women, we don't feel safe. We
Right.
don't feel
Right.
safe because we have had to do it on our own for so
For so
long.
long.
Who are we going to trust to be able to do it for us when they have told us we can do it ourselves?
And for me personally, from my own experiences, it comes from, and again, this is me personally, but it comes from me being that person that was in a relationship for over 17 years, where I'm just like, I did the submissive thing, and then when being submissive wasn't enough and we needed to level up, I took charge. I did what needed to be done. I was willing to work hard. I was willing to hustle. I was willing to do whatever to provide for our family, and I did it all. And then you still played me. Like, I still got the shitty end of the stick.
Right.
And then you played as a victim, as if
Right.
I didn't do all these things that I did for the sake of the relationship, for the sake of our family, for the sake of well-being and life. I'm very firm on, we all have a choice. And I really feel like we have a choice in the quality of life. You can eat oodles and noodles all day, but you can eat the oodles and noodles out the cup, or you can pour that shit in a bowl and get a fancy fork. It's just the quality of life that you want to, you can eat it like a soup, like you've been in prison all your life, or you could fancy it up, put it in a bowl. So to me, it doesn't matter about the financial side of things or the materialistic side of things. It's really just a mental thing and what type of quality that you want to have. And I really, really wanted to have and share a better quality of life. And
Right.
I feel like that's what broke me down a lot, is that I did it all. I did it all.
Right.
I was submissive and I was listening and I was, there to help, and I overextended myself and I did all these things. Before I knew it, I was just stripping myself. So there was really nothing left. And I wondered, what was my purpose? Why am I even here? It made me feel so bad. Like I didn't even know if I wanted to be here anymore. And so this is why I say, stop letting people tell you that you don't need to talk about it. Stop letting people tell you that you shouldn't be in a counseling group or a therapy, or if you need to go to the hospital, please go to the hospital. Please get whatever help that you need, because all of the things that occur in your mind, you don't really have control of it. You don't know when you're going to snap.
Right.
We say we've had enough, and we say all the time, you'll know when you sick and tired, when you get sick and tired. But sometimes that sick and tired be you snap, you don't hurt yourself, you don't hurt somebody else.
Right.
There's so much stuff going on. So I just really encourage people to find their village, find those that love them, find those that they can trust. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be people that you know. It's not going to be your family. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be your best friend. It's going to be some people that you don't even know.
Right, that's true.
People that are not going to be able to judge you, that sat in your face and watch you go through what you go through, because they're already assuming that they know some things about you or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And that might have been your front, or it might have been you calling for help and they never paid attention. So you got to really get out there and find your tribe and understand that it's okay to talk about all these different things, because you need your space mentally, physically, and emotionally. You need your space.
And it's very important because, like, I was one of those people who didn't have anybody to talk to. When I first started my journey almost 10 years ago, there was nobody talking about mental health. Nobody was talking about depression and, anxiety and all of that. You start seeing it now. Everybody talking about anxiety, toxic.
And everybody has something.
Everybody had, right. But it's like back then when I was doing it, everybody was like, shh, girl, don't be telling nobody. They're going to think you crazy, girl. Right. But what I found out is those people that was trying to suppress me and didn't want me to tell my story, because this is my story. This is what I'm talking about. How the hell is you embarrassed about me telling about what I'm dealing with? Right. Obviously, I can't come to you and talk about it. So I went to social media and started, like when I was going to the therapy and when I locked myself in that program, I was coming back to social media telling people the stuff that I learned. How I did that, like coping skills. Like, when you start feeling yourself getting that tight chest thing, like that's your trigger. That means you are triggered. You have to figure out at what point from that time when you start feeling that shit bottle up, how long do you have to escape? Like, that's your fight or flight right there. You got like a couple of seconds, maybe a minute or so before you need to get the hell up out of that situation before you lose control. And now these people want to play victim. Now they want to play victim after they've been poking the bear all this time. Like, no, you don't get to do that. So, with me, I learned that, and I'm coming back to online and telling people like, yo, here's what happened, here's what to do, and they're like, yo, don't be. But what I found out is they didn't want me. That was their, issues that was coming out where they didn't want me to disclose them, because then it's like, hey, if you telling them what's going on with you, I know you in better shape than me. They're gonna be looking at me and try to figure out the shit that I've been hiding in my closet all these years. Don't be telling these folks that we got a problem. I ain't got no problem. You the one with the problem.
Because people are quick to try to handcuff you. They want to handcuff you because they so scared of them being found out, which is sad. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, instead of us binding together to get the help that we need and to help each other through it, instead you want to handcuff me. No, I'm not being handcuffed.
Yeah, no,
you don't have the keys. I got the keys. I got the keys. Give you the keys to unhandcuff
I'm free, baby. I'm free, baby. You go ahead in that mental prison. You stay in that mental prison that you've been in all these 20, 30 years or whatever. I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out of here. You ain't gonna keep handcuffing me, honey, because I got the keys right here, baby.
The abusers
I ain't doing that.
never want to be identified because they don't want help. They don't want. They want to continue doing what they're doing, so they're afraid that they'll be exposed for who they are, what they've done. Those that were negligent, those that were hurting people, those that were, to hurt themselves, because hurt people, right?
Hurt people.
Yeah.
It's like that. So like I look back now and I'm looking at people and they're in bondage, they're in cages, and I'm like, honey, it's no lock on the cage. All you got to do is lift the latch, get the fuck out.
Get out.
Get out.
You know,
But I understand it ain't that easy to get out all the time. But when you get to that point, you got to get out. You got to get out of there. Stay like that.
Yeah, and it's not even that it's not easy to get out. Yeah, it's part of that because you have to, make the decision. But what I found is like some people stay in that space because that's their comfortability.
Right.
That's where they are comfortable playing victim. That's where they can keep telling people, oh, this is what happened to me. This is why I'm this way. Right. Oh no, because back in the day when I was a kid, they dropped me on my head. So that's why I'm treating you like this. That's why you can't trust me. It's all they've been living off of these, this crutch. They've been walking on this crutch and pacifying themselves off of this crutch all this time. Because now, in order to change that, you got to do some work. You got to literally go and do the work and get the, unpack one by one. And a lot of people they don't even want to deal with that shit. They don't even want to come back because that's a heavy load and that's some big shit that you got to deal with. Right. And a lot of people was like, hey, I'd rather stay in this situation where I'm in because I already know what this is. I'm already comfortable with this. I already know what this is like.
Right.
Yep.
It can be a scary place when you have a slave mentality.
But
you're right about that.
When you think about it, though, it's so much deeper for us, us and as a community because, like I try to tell people, I can remember as being as young as, like I said, 8 years old and knowing something was different about me. You know what I'm saying? I can remember being a kid and feeling sad then and feeling depressed then.
I'm telling you.
Knowing, but who was I was going to tell? Because we weren't taught to tell. It's what, like you said, it was always said, pray to God, or if something like that happened, you had to be a demon, or something had to be wrong with you. You had to keep it quiet. You couldn't talk about things like that. So,
and for me, that's when I started acting out. That's when I was being mad.
Or they'll tell you, girl, you'll be all right. You tripping. Come on now. What is you thinking about? And you like, yo, this is real life happening to me. And they're looking at you
but see, I never even said anything. That's the thing. I've never even said anything. I just went through my life thinking that this was normal behavior for me to feel this way. I just thought this is exactly what I was supposed to feel like. And anytime that it got overwhelming, I did what I saw. It wasn't even what I was taught. I did what I saw. I'd go into the bathroom, I cry it out, and keep moving, basically. Because that's all I knew. You know what I'm saying?
Go away. Make it go away.
Just like Candy has a comment, she said, my mama yelled and shunned us. I started that way as a mother. Now I'm fixing it. That's big. That's real big.
Can relate.
And, definitely can relate to that.
Freedom can be a scary place when you have a slave mentality. So just imagine back then how many slaves chose to stay in their situation, knowing that this is this ain't nothing good about this situation.
Listen, I'm nothing good.
You rather stay in it.
You rather stay
in there than to go try to find out what else is out there.
But that's what happens to a lot of us, where we don't have enough people who are taking a journey that we know. So therefore, instead of us being that leader and standing up and saying, hey, I'm taking this journey, you start to get scared, and then you start having that same mentality as them, like, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not about to be the one, because you're scared. You know what I mean? Just like with slaves on Juneteenth, a lot of them did not get free. They didn't get free when we was free before. They didn't get free on Juneteenth because they were scared. They didn't know what was about to happen to them. They're like, okay, so this is all that I know. And a lot of us, we so bonded with our trauma, that's all that we know. So if we don't know anything else, it's like, why am I going to come out of this box that I know and I'm familiar and I'm comfortable to get to a place where I'm not comfortable?
Can you imagine how many
healing is an uncomfortable place because you got to be you. And if you got to see you, just like with the slaves, they had to fend for themselves because now they can no longer depend on a slave
master.
master. You can't
Right.
depend on your
Who
master,
gonna
now you're
feed me?
depending on you.
Who
And
gonna
that's the
feed
same
me?
way.
Who gonna
Right. And
feed
that's
my
the same.
kids?
Who gonna feed
Where
my
am I gonna
kids?
sleep?
Who's gonna help me through this? And that's the same way when it comes to your journey and your healing. You don't know who is going to be able to help you. So what's easier, to stay in that slave mentality
Mm-hmm.
Right.
or to step outside the box and trust
And
yourself?
look at how
Right.
much. Look at how
And
exactly the way how you would describe it, Donna, is exactly what that's incarceration, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
They
mental
tell you what you
prison.
can eat, when you can eat,
Mm-hmm.
how much you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's it. Who wants to live like that every day? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
If you think
But when
about it,
that's your
it's crazy.
norm, when that's your
Yeah.
you
norm,
That's
you
don't
don't
know
know
it's
that there's
most
crazy,
anything
people.
else.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's what's so crazy is that they're so um transitioning from different states. I went from Connecticut to Virginia to Georgia, and then meeting people. I know some people who never left Decatur. They've never been. They've never been to Marietta. They've never been to
Me too.
anywhere.
They've
Mm-hmm.
never
And
been
I'm
five
like,
miles, 5 mile radius, maybe
I'm
10 mile
like,
radius.
Yeah.
That's it.
what? Like they never been. I'm like, did you ever go to the? You never went to the Martin Luther King Monument? Like you never knew why I fight? Like because I swear, like in my past life, I was an activist. I was out there getting arrested and all of that. Like I don't
Ah,
play that shit. Like I am a civil activist and I'm serious about all of that. So I'm big on history and I'm just like the women went through too
Yeah.
much. The women
Yeah.
went through too much. Our men went through too much.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But I can't speak for how they feel and what they go through. I only know what I assume and what I feel
Mm-hmm.
about for them. But our women went through too much for us to just be sitting around settling, not trying to do nothing with ourselves, not loving ourselves.
Right. But not only our women, our men went through so much. Our men was emasculated
Absolutely.
like a mug, and they're still emasculated to this day. Like a lot of
Absolutely.
black
Absolutely.
women do not respect the black man because of the slave mentality.
Absolutely.
mhm.
But like I said I agree. I just can't speak for them because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know what I feel and I empathize with a lot of men for that because just like anything else, the good men don't get no credit. The good men don't. They go over there. Go over there. He a good guy. Go take your ass over there. But let's talk about this dog. Let's talk about this one. Let's talk about negative things get all the attention in the world. Nobody cares about the
But at
positive.
the end of the day, as a whole, mental health is killing our community,
Big
period.
time.
Yeah.
As
Big
Big
time. Big
and
time.
absolutely, because you have men who are told to be strong and they supposed to be the leaders and the
can't
providers, and that
Mm-hmm.
has to be a very, very hard state to be in all the time. You get what I'm
Right.
Yep.
saying?
Right.
All
That
the
is
time,
really, really
you have
hard.
to assume the position of the provider to be strong. You can't be vulnerable. You can't be weak. On top
Can't
of
do none of that.
whatever
Right.
emotional issues that you're
You
dealing with every
can't. Hmm.
day.
Right.
So for me, going through my healing journey and transition, that also opened me up to how much men suffer from it is just as much as us. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? And
Yes.
For
For
sure.
sure.
it's a must that we have the uncomfortable conversations and that we talk about it. And that's the problem why so many of I feel like our beautiful brown relationships fell, because they are the backstories and the trauma that we are all still trying to hide
Hmm.
and not vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
enough to tell, because you have these people who are out here also mentally going through things and covering that shit
Hmm.
up with glamour and glitz and and
And social
because they're
media
hurting and going through
and
whatever they're going
filters.
through, not being able to be open and honest and say what they really feel. So it's like it's kind of hard. You got to wean out the fuzzies and the crazies so you can
Right.
find your person, or just not even your person, anybody in general that can relate to the fact
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
that, listen, I have
Yep.
lived a certain life this way for so long. I am now transitioning to another lifestyle. And you have to
Mm-hmm.
find a community. It is so important
Right.
to be able to have people you can fall back on, that because a lot of the times we feel like we got to stay around these people we grew up with. We feel like we got to
Right.
hang with the people.
Yeah.
Like, no, because sometimes we outgrow those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those relationships are solely based on trauma bond if we don't even be knowing that shit. So we be thinking,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
my day one, and you don't even realize your day one toxic as fuck. Your day one is the reason
Right.
why you
Yeah,
can't
And
move
they'll
up.
You're
why you
where
Your
you're
day
keep
one
at.
is
feeding you.
hating
yeah.
on you. You know what I'm
And
saying?
they'll keep feeding you the poison, so you don't go and get
Exactly.
You
no
can't follow it.
healing. They don't want you to go and find the
They
elixir,
don't want
No.
because
you to go
who
to
Exactly.
the hell you think
the
you are? Then that
mm-hmm.
mean that you trying to work on you. Then what you think? You think something must be wrong with me, and I need to work on myself.
Right.
Like it's so much that you got to deal with that. It's like, find out. You got to be able to identify that. Set boundaries with those weird people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I really had to separate myself from people that I thought that I was going to go to the end with,
Big time.
that I spent my entire life with. And that was like,
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard for me, because it's a grieving period that you don't even realize that you got to go through.
Oh
You
yeah.
really
Oh
got
yeah.
to
Yeah.
Because
grieve
you're to
these
grieve from
people.
losing.
Yes.
Yes.
This one, just like Candy is saying about, I agree. She says some men still need to go to, still need help to lead because of where they came from. But this is not even about men.
Yes.
It's all of
It's
us.
It's
about all
all
of
of
All
us.
of
us.
us.
For real.
All of
Mm-hmm.
us where we came
Right.
from. Are you going to be like your family, or you leave your family thinking that you found these friends, and these friends are leading you into destruction and leading you into more trauma and
Mm-hmm.
craziness, because you keep, again, you keep going from person to person to person, looking for something to fulfill you,
That's
or
Right.
not
looking to be
it.
a part of something, but you really fucking don't by
Yeah.
Right.
yourself. And it's
I mean,
Right.
just
until
I
like
you
feel
Candy
like
find
also
yourself, you don't
said,
know.
yep, just like Candy also said, my girls were afraid of me and told their friends. What we go through affects our children, and a lot of
It
times
sure
we don't even
does.
realize
It
that,
sure
like how
does.
much is affecting our child. Like for her to say that her girls were afraid of
Yeah.
her, come
that's
on
hurtful.
now.
I can
That's
relate.
That's
how
a
I can
lot. That's
mine
a
relate.
was.
lot.
Yep.
That is a lot. And it's not a good feeling, because she said it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling
It's not.
because one of the things when we're healing, the one thing that we want to do is affect our child so that they are doing better. Because I know for me, I
Absolutely.
always wanted my daughter to be better than me. Always.
So
Because
yeah.
I know what I went through. So I wanted her to be better. So if just like Candy is sitting here feeling like my girls were afraid of me, they were afraid of me.
Right.
Not just I'm their mom, they're respecting me. No, they're afraid of
They're
me.
Right.
scared of
That's
me.
a whole
So
nother
that goes
ball
to show,
game.
like, there was trauma and stuff that's going on
Mm-hmm.
with Candy that was being portrayed in her daily life, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
same
And
thing
you
that
don't
happened
even
for me.
realize it
That's
though.
what
You
no,
really
that's the same
don't.
thing that happened for me, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
with me coming up, and being on the streets like that, and being homeless, and being on drugs, and being, dealing with all of that, then dealing with a man almost 10 years that was beating my ass and all of that, so all of that stuff, I'm carrying all of this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that, okay, I had a bad day. These people done played in my face at work. I'm about to, my boss trying to get me to quit or want to fire me or whatever. I got all of this shit that I'm carrying around. Then I come home to some kids and my house ain't clean. Or y'all been sitting
Yep.
around doing all this, or the shit that I told you to do, you ain't goddamn did. Now I'm losing my shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was because before I got the help that I needed with my mental
You had
health,
more
Mm-hmm.
I
to
would
it.
explode.
Yeah.
I would explode because I didn't know how to control this. All I know is that I'm
You overwhelmed.
a barrel of rage.
Yeah.
Like I'm locked and loaded.
Freaking
I'm ready to
I'm a
explode.
bucket of anger,
yeah.
and if you want to try
A
to
bucket
tip this
of
bucket over, you about to have all this anger spilling out on this
yes.
highway right now.
So
Yeah.
I
That's it.
realized that my kids, they didn't deserve that. They didn't. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't. They
Right.
didn't cause that trauma. They didn't cause those issues. So my why, that's why my why was like, nah, my kids deserve to have a mother that they can, love and trust, and know that, even if we go through disagreements,
You
or if
still,
I'm having a
still got
bad day,
mother.
they don't got shit to do with
Right.
them. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So that's
And
where it
just the
was for me, because I felt
scariness,
bad. Like, so
and
I
just
could
the
relate to
scariness.
Candy. I could relate
And
to
and, and,
Candy.
and and what really made me really trigger me was because I felt me being an adult. I'm a grown whole woman, and the scariness of this world. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
scariness of feeling like the whole weight of the world is on your
It's
shoulders.
on
So
your
that was
shoulders.
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
the biggest thing, because I needed my kids to know that, I was an outlet for them. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
Mm-hmm.
if they can't pour into me, then who the hell they gonna be able to pour
Who they
into?
gonna
And there's
do?
so
Right.
Exactly.
many devious people that will
Mm-mm.
fuck up what you spent almost 17, 18 years trying to
Years
instill.
building.
Will
Yeah.
take
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes and
I'm
fuck up because
telling
Mm-hmm.
you.
they just
Mm-hmm.
needed to talk to somebody, or they needed to get an
Telling you.
outlet. So, I am so thankful for the fact that I initially took the chance to, just went on ahead and got the help that I needed for myself, because it opened me up to so much about myself that I did not know.
Right.
And it allowed me to see things about myself that really, really needed to be fixed, needed to be changed, mindset, the way I looked at people, the way I valued people. Because the one thing a lot of us don't understand is that a lot of the shit that we deal on a daily basis really is coming from a place of trauma that we just have not dealt with.
And brokenness.
Or haven't had
And
the
brokenness.
opportunity to grow in it,
But then,
in that space to feel safe enough to even internalize what is going on with you. Because again, depression for us don't look the same as depression for other nationalities. And I'm not lessening what they go through. But what I'm saying, it's a whole different face for us Black and brown people, because we don't realize that overworking ourselves is a sign of depression. Feeling like we got to do it always, all the time, that's a sign.
That's a sign of depression.
Feeling like we got to fight and argue with our man all the time. Because
that's a sign of depression.
We ain't taking
surrounding yourself with people and all of that stuff. Like,
angry and all of that. We're not angry. That shit was depression. That shit was anxiety. Not being freely be in the space to grow in a stable environment. And it takes nothing away from our parents, because let's just give it up for them too.
Because they was wicked. You know what? Our parents didn't know now.
They had no clue.
They had no clue.
And they did the best
our parents
that they could.
You know what our parents was told? Where's your faith? Where's your faith?
Right.
I love when people say that, but I hate when people say that. When people be like, where's your faith? Oh, my faith is right here. But you do have to understand, I'm a spiritual being in a human body. So these human emotions is going to start to act up. And when they start to act up, I can have faith, but you telling me that I can't have an emotion because shit is going all haywire behind me?
I'm gonna have faith.
The part that I don't like about that.
I'm gonna have faith while I fuck shit up.
Right. But I don't like that. They never say that about like a broken bone. They never say that about a broken bone. You got your broken ribs. You got a broken ankle. You carrying around your wrist.
Go to the hospital, right?
They're going to tell you to go and get some help. They don't nobody say, where's your faith? Oh, bring it to God. Pray on it. Pray on it.
Yep. But as soon as you come to them and be like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with me. You know, I feel like I'm clocking out at night. I'm depressed. I don't know how to get through this. Oh, baby, where's your faith? Have you prayed about it? I'm broken. Shit, what you mean? Did I pray about it? I am broken. And most broken people, when you're broke, what do? You go to the hospital. I broke my arm. I'm going to the hospital. Let me fix it. Right. Why are you telling me that faith is going to fix it when I need something more? Right. My faith is going to lead me to the therapist.
Right.
Understand what they need to realize is that therapists ain't nothing but moderators. Profit.
That's it. That's it, because we have the answers inside of us, but we just need help with someone helping us to pull it out.
What therapy is really talk therapy, because what happens to heal from the shit that happened to us, we got to get it out. We got to get it out of our system. You got to talk about it until it doesn't become raw anymore. Right. So like when I first started going through therapy, I couldn't even go and say like, oh yeah, because I was homeless as a teenager and I would just start crying. And I was like, I couldn't even get it out because it was still raw at that point.
Yeah.
And the more I told my story and the more I talked about it, the more I was lifted. That weight was lifted off of me. I literally felt like, you know, back in the day when we was going to the laundromat with the big ass laundry bags, carrying them on our back and all of that stuff. I felt like I was carrying one of those laundry bags for 20, 30 years. And then finally, I don't got the laundry bag no more. Now I'm like, hold up, I could do flip. I could, like, what? Oh, junk. Like, that weight is like, so then somebody come with their bullshit and they drama, and then they want me to pick up the, hey, baby, listen, I'm done with that bag, okay? I didn't put my bag down. I could teach you how to unpack yours, too, but one thing about it, you're going to have to go over there with that, because I'm done with it. Yeah, all the way over there. So that's the boundaries that I say. I don't let nobody bring their dirty laundry.
You said the key word boundaries, because you know what? A lot of us Black women lack those boundaries because we're so nurturing and we want to be able to have everybody coming into our little circle. Oh, come on, baby, I can help you. Oh, come on, baby, I can help you. And then the boundaries is crossed, and it's come a time when you got to say fucking no. No.
Right.
I'm
But
not.
what it is we have a need to feel accepted. The human need
That human
needs to feel
acceptance.
needed and to feel accepted and to belong and be a part of something.
And that
You see what I'm saying?
Wanted.
let's stop with that too, because then there's the feeling of the guilt and
Oh my God,
the
yes.
fear from creating those boundaries, because now you got to deal with the other side of the fence, and you feeling more alone. You feeling it might be lonely
Absolutely.
having those
Yeah.
boundaries. It might be
And
lonely
it's
Yes.
getting rid
so
of those people that don't mean
sad.
well to you. If you open up and again find your village, find people that understand and been through what you've been through, find like-minded individuals, and then you can feel more complete. But
Well,
either way, it's in you. You got to feel right with you, and you got to understand why you doing what you're doing for
right.
you more than anything else.
Because it is a lonely journey, and you have to know that it's going to be lonely and be comfortable with that lonely journey.
Accept
Because
it.
what happens
Right.
is, while you're growing and you find out that you have to change your whole mindset,
Right.
and you got to start doing things differently. So the people around you, they're going to try to pull you back because they're not ready to change. They're not ready to grow. They're not ready to.
No.
I had a lady tell me, I ain't ready to change my life. Like, hold up.
Okay.
We
They're
sitting around, I'm
over
chilling
there.
around with you every day, damn near. I'm talking to you
Right.
every day. And you gonna tell me you ain't ready to change your life? I got to move on, baby.
Right.
Like it ain't no love loss or anything like that, but I got shit that
No,
I need to do.
you
Like
gonna
this is
put me down.
important.
You
It's
can't.
it's vital to
And
my
that's
health.
why a lot of time with people, when you start to, realize you outgrew a lot of people, or you necessarily don't relate to a lot of people on the same time, you notice you go back to those same places, you be feeling all out of order and shit, because it's like it's not for you anymore. A lot of us
Right.
struggle with that,
Yeah.
Right.
because again, we feel like the people that we be around, or the people that we relate to, that we have to be around
Yeah.
them. And the thing is, you can't. Life is about change. Life is about growth. Life is about moving on. And sometimes it literally hurts us to move on from the people
Leave
that
somebody behind.
we love
Big
on,
time.
that we
And
grew from,
and
So
because
we gotta be real careful with those titles, because let me tell you something. We're not talking about I'm not talking about just your boyfriend or your husband or your besties or your A1s. I'm talking about your mother, your father,
Yes.
your
Your
sister,
brother, your
everybody,
sister,
girl,
your
everybody.
cousin.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
them
Like all
uncles
of
and
them, your aunts,
sisters
your uncles.
that touch people and do stuff they're not supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about whoever. I'm talking
Yeah.
about, we carry titles and we try to, again, acceptance is a huge word, because it's so easy to accept all the wrongdoings of other people, and you accept the excuses and you accept the lies and you accept the bullshit, and you start sympathizing for why they are the way that they are, and this, that, and the third. And then now you trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you, because
Right.
you accepted all these
Because we're taught
excuses
that
You
and all
accepted
of the
all the
Right.
bullshit,
bullshit.
instead of
95%
getting
of the
something
time.
better for yourself. So I'm
Don't you
not
know
doing that. My
this?
children will not be 40 years old before they start figuring this out. We talking
Right,
about it today,
Today.
Yeah.
Now.
today,
right.
right now.
And you notice
We're we're
why?
we're talking
Because
about it.
what do your family always tell you? Well, that's how they is. That's be
Yeah.
the number one line you
Yes.
hear. It don't
You know
matter
that.
who
You
it
know that's
is.
Facts.
how they is.
Yeah.
And they could know grandma messy as hell and still be like,
Right.
well,
Right.
you know how she is.
Yeah.
Man, fuck that. She know better.
She
They
know
learned
better.
Okay.
it from
And you
us.
too
That's
and you
the
too
problem.
fucking old for that,
Right.
Way
grandma.
too old for
Like
that.
somebody
Come
need to
on.
somebody need to call her out.
They'll tell
That's
you
the
the
first. Don't
Right.
truth.
It's
nobody.
like
This just the
we
way I
don't believe in
am.
accountability. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Don't
Like
No.
nobody.
Oh
nobody
Don't
my
wants
nobody.
God. Let's not even talk
Tell
about
people what it is.
accountability.
Especially if they're in the higher, hierarchy than them.
Right.
It's like one thing about it. I don't care who you are. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
wrong.
Right.
facts.
I had to walk
You're
away from
facts.
family that, like, you sitting there supporting this shit. You're supporting this campaign when you know that she wrong. I don't give a fuck who she
Facts.
is. You got to go too.
Yeah.
All of y'all got to go. I
Right.
can't even mess
Yeah.
with none of y'all. I
Yeah.
can't
Look.
even
One
mess with
sound,
What?
none of
Look.
y'all.
one
You see what
band.
my Mickey Mouse is doing? Throwing up the peace sign. That's what you got to do to these
Listen,
people. See
one
ya.
thing
Listen.
about
One
me, one thing
sound,
about me and my
one
peace,
band.
I'm not jeopardizing or sacrificing that for
No.
nobody.
Not,
Not no family,
No.
not a
not
damn
no that,
nothing.
like listen.
Mm-mm.
And not
Not
even
a
my
damn
kids.
nothing.
Now that my
Yeah.
kids are grown, I'll be telling them, hey man, listen, because like how Candy was saying, her kids is think she
Yeah.
mean or dealing with some shit. My kids grew up with a certain, some little chip on their chest or whatever because they dealt with a lot of my trauma and all of that shit. I will never invalidate their feelings. I will never invalidate their emotions.
All
Ever try
my
to say,
life
oh
I had
no,
to fight
you
with
don't
Yep.
deserve to feel like this and you don't deserve to watch your mouth
Right.
when you talk to me
Right.
though. But
That's
at
right.
the same time, what you're not gonna do is come over here and try to make my life miserable on some, making you feel better or whatever. Because now you got grown. Hey, you do
Nope.
that shit over there.
Go
You do
home.
that shit over there.
Go.
So that's where I got boundaries for everybody.
Yep.
Like
Heck
if
yeah.
it disturbs my peace and my well being, you got to go. And I
Gotta
mean,
go.
it's not even. I'm not even sorry for that because I choose me. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, I choose me.
Girl, that has been my motto for
I choose
2023. I
me.
choose me. That's it.
Yep.
I choose me. Because who else is going to choose
Yeah.
me?
That's the thing. And
My
what I
motto
found.
has been I am enough. I'm enough all by
There
myself.
you
So
go.
I can't take all this extra shit. I'm
Mm-hmm.
enough by myself.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm enough in
That's it.
a positive way. I got enough negative going on. I got enough negative going on for me and 10
And
other people.
whole
So I
army.
can't don't bring
I
no other
swear.
over here. Don't bring
I
nothing
swear.
else over here.
You know, I don't
I
need
so
nothing else over
relate
here.
I'm enough just like
because
this. I got enough business and enough kids and enough life and enough bills and
All of that.
I have
goals
Additionally.
enough
and
of
I got
everything,
enough.
honey.
I am enough. Okay, so go over there and figure out what you got going on, and
Right.
what I'm saying? Go fill your cup up. My cup is
And
overflowing over here, baby.
you
Like,
could come back over here when you get it together,
yeah,
if you get it
Okay.
together.
let's talk.
But
We got something to say with each other
When
that
you
makes sense.
when you ain't handcuffed.
okay.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And trying to project your fears over here, baby, because I'm
Okay.
free.
Your
We
ass in
free.
the
I'm
cage.
free.
Cause
I'm
you
I'm
feel
free.
locked
free.
up and I'm not. You in the cage, freaking out, trying to talk to me from the cage. Listen,
Trying to
I'm not in
talk to
that
me from the
engagement.
cage.
You ain't talking to me from the cage.
I know, right? That's about to be our new
Talk
shit.
to
Oh,
me
so
when
you
you
talking
get
to me
out.
from the
You know what I'm saying?
cage?
Talk to me when you get out. Talk to me when
Talk
you
to me
can
when you
stand
get
up
out.
face to face with me. You can't
Okay.
talk to me through the cage. I don't want to talk to you through the bars.
Right.
Look, I'm screaming, free you until they
Right.
free you.
Free you,
Okay.
Right.
free you.
Hold on, guys. We got a question that said, why do we let everyone else trauma and triggers get the best of us? Oh.
Trauma, because it's trauma. Because it's your trauma, because that's what you've been accustomed to. And I'm one of those people that was guilty of that. I was guilty of that, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. We just talked about Carly, and I'm all in my feelings. And I know better, but I'm still all in my feelings because I know every avenue, every I feel like I'm on every side of the fence. I'm on the fence of the person sympathizing, like, oh my God, they're abducting women and children. This is terrible. Then I'm saying, oh my God, this woman is hurting so bad because why would she do that? Something is causing her to do this, and we need help. We need more
Yeah.
help than this. And then I'm mad as hell because why the fuck you didn't get no help? Like, but I
Yeah.
understand that there's a process. I
Yeah,
understand
we're
that there's
talking
a
about a
process.
25.
Yeah,
We're talking about a 25-year
25
old.
year
yeah.
old.
And one thing about mental
Levels
health,
to it.
one thing about mental health, we can't really,
They don't care
engage
about no
how
age.
somebody
They
should
don't
be
care
able
about
to,
As
no.
I said
figure out things
before,
because
because you never
I
know
just
when
put a
you're about
whole
to snap.
I
You
just
never
put a
know.
whole bomb to my life about 5-7 years ago and went all the way down to zero and was homeless again, all because of the man. I just told y'all I was abused and physically abused for almost 10
Right.
years. And then when my daughter want to go back and go and live with her father, and then he start doing some shit to her, I lost my shit. I didn't even know. I wish I had, I wish y'all was here where
Right.
I could be like,
Right.
yo, this shit is called,
Right.
but I didn't have that,
Right.
right? So what I did, I had a whole business. I was self-employed. I done left corporate America, self-employed, started a business, did all of that, doing good. I put a bomb to my whole life. Sent my son with my mother. The daughter was already in Connecticut with her, and I started living out of my car. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like
And
crazy,
that's why I say
crazy.
I'm on every side of the fence because I understand
So
that. But my point is like this is why it's important to talk about it and try to identify your issues because what I'm certain of is that she's had a cry for help somewhere in some way, whether it was to herself or whether it was to somebody else, and it may may have been ignored, or maybe she tried to sweep it under the rug like she was okay and she wasn't okay. My point is that we all go through crazy shit, and it's easier for us to say the bitch is crazy, something wrong with her, something wrong with her, something wrong with all of us. We all got
Hell
issues.
yeah,
Everybody
everybody
done
got
some shit.
something going on.
I done seen women that was like 70 years old egging cars and shit. Bitch, go in the house. Why are you throwing eggs outside? Like, people
First of
don't
all,
even do that no
grandma,
more.
I know damn well grandma ain't out there egging no
Grandma
cars.
out there because he's sleeping with the neighbor, or you know what I'm saying. That was her
She over
friend.
there egging cars
They
because
outside
of
egging
Mr.
cars.
John.
My point is, ain't nobody life perfect. Everybody got issues. Everybody got problems. But I think that as a for me, if I could do something in my life, is going to be to bring more attention to our community, that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not
Yeah.
be okay. It's okay to go get therapy. It's okay to get counseling. It's okay to join a group of people that you don't even know, and chime in like what we're doing. Chime in, because you
Yeah.
don't have to deal with so many people that's so biased. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take a chance on yourself. Bet on you. I say that all the time. Just bet on you, because you don't know when you're about to snap.
Right.
You think that you're okay, and you don't know if you're really okay or not.
Right.
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 Just talk to someone.
So
Like, don't.
even though this Carly pissed all of us off and
Yeah,
did what she did
but it's
and did all of
sad.
that,
It's
we
sad.
still have to sit and give her grace and realize that something is going
Something
on with that girl.
wrong.
Something is
Yeah.
up with her. She to the point where they started bringing out the old
Posts and stuff
post
talking
and
about
stuff where she
some
was
she
saying that
like
she
taken
felt
and
like
all that other stuff.
she looking for taken, but but by her boyfriend saying that for somebody to cheat on you, that's something with about a cheater.
Right.
And she went into, sometimes you just want to feel loved or wanted or whatever. Like, she been crying out for help. She just didn't know how to go and
How to
talk to
get it.
somebody.
About it.
And nobody knew how to
Those were the
identify
wrong
the shit that
people.
she was dealing
Yeah,
with.
because we did
So, like, as a
titles.
25-year-old who won, she obviously lived a sheltered life. Look at her parents. Look at what they did. They lived in an $800,000 house. So, this is not like, chick from the hood like us. Like, you know what I'm saying? That been exposed to some shit. This is some girl that's been
And at
privileged.
the end of the day, though, it don't even matter the fact that she had money, because listen, you see how many
Mental health don't care
billionaires
if
you
you got
see
money or
offing
not.
themselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
How you
That's
see how
true.
many
But
billionaires you see offing themselves are not happy?
Yeah,
So that
money
just goes to show
don't make you
it
happy.
ain't
no.
about
I
what
was
you
saying
can
the
access.
fact that she lived a privileged life,
That they were
meaning
trying to
like she didn't really
protect
go
her.
through
They were
stuff
probably,
like,
yeah.
she didn't go through the real shit, like, she lived in the hood or whatever. You know what I mean? Where we started seeing stuff going on where, I don't know, she lived like a sheltered life,
Right.
dealing with whatever she was dealing
Right.
with. You know what I mean? So now it's like she don't know, she don't got the support to go and talk to and let somebody know, like, she feeling unstable and, oh, this man cheated on me. Like, girl, we seen people get cheated on growing up. I done seen people get cheated on. I was a little kid. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? You see your aunties and shit fight and all of that stuff. Like, so
And
Yeah.
you done seen that kind
They
of
sit in the
trauma.
same
She
room
probably,
with each other. We don't even know no better. We
Don't
don't
know no
know
better.
we just know these as aunties and uncles. We don't even know they supposed to belong to each other. They for the streets.
and don't even
so,
realize that,
Up for the
we
streets,
gotta give
baby.
they
our girl
were.
Carly a little bit of grace,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
still
Like I just said,
pop her on the back of the hand, like, girl, what's up with you?
Right.
You still need a
Listen,
little.
but I
but at
listen.
the
I
end
ain't
of the
gonna
day,
lie. That shit funny that they comparing her to Jussie Smollett.
yeah, she's
I'm sorry.
Girl,
giving Jesse. She's
They
giving
call
yo,
they
Jesse.
call her
yo,
She's giving.
Justelina. Justelina Smollett.
they did a whole verses. Did y'all see the her versus
Yeah,
the
yeah.
versus thing?
Jussie versus
No.
Carly talking about some. They had just. I seen one where they had Jussie talking about something, but I believe her. Yeah.
They
Listen,
horrible with it.
it
Right.
really is.
Like, don't get me
But
wrong.
Yeah.
I did say, girl, you was holding up the prayer line. You
the thing
definitely was
is,
holding up.
Right.
mental health is
But
real.
Mental
Mental
health
health
is
is
real
real.
though.
All
For
that
real,
shows you
for
is
real.
mental health is real. However it comes out. It may come out your homegirl, you ever see those people that just tell these lies? They just make shit up.
Oh,
They be
and they
like, yeah,
probably
girl,
just
I'm about to get a Benz next week. Oh, I was just in Florida. You You be like,
You be
you
like,
lying.
I
Like,
just seen you at the corner store. What do you mean? You
You
was
be
in
like-
Florida, like.
but these are the people we dealing with every day. We know somebody like that. You know what I mean? You be like, child, here we go again. Here come another story. All right, what is it today?
Right.
What you did today, baby? What happened?
What happened today?
Right.
Right. But it is
Oh.
it's sad though. It is
The
because
thing
like,
is-
at the
It
end
is
of the day,
sad.
you really don't know what she was going through or why she was even, tweaking the way she was, I'm gonna say. But
Right.
you know how we is. We black community, they gonna get you. They're gonna tear you down from
Oh, yeah,
the
they
root
gonna
to the
tear you
hood. They're gonna
down.
hug you.
They're gonna
They
tear you
gonna
down.
get you.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you just with me and my, I don't know if it's my bipolar. I don't know if it's the PTSD. I don't know if it's the anxiety. I don't know what it is. But I'm gonna tell you right now, when I get unstable, I get unstable, child. Like unstable.
Yeah.
Y'all done see me on this call when I was talking about this folks the other day, about my son. Like
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing about it, when it get to like, it's get personal shit, when it's affecting my kids or affecting my parents or something like that, I lose my shit. I don't know why I'm like that. And I get crazy. It's certain things that like drive me through a roof. Like, it's like, oh my God.
Them experiencing all of what we
But
don't want them to experience, and then it's the fact that what that situation, I feel like it's the fact
hold
that
on, no,
like
no,
people
I'm
know
talking about
better.
me right now. I'm talking about when I get unstable. It's the point where I can't think straight.
Right.
So this is why I'm able to not necessarily relate to her, because I ain't never did no shit like that. But I mean, what I have done is jumped out of my window and had my mother thinking that I was still in my room, and with the phone, I locked the phone in the room with the, so she can't even call the police. She can't call nobody. I hopped out a second floor window, damn near broke my ankle, and hopped around the corner to the thing. I had to go to the hospital and didn't even know I hit with a, so that's what I'm saying. I was about 15 then, 14 or 15 or whatever. Like, this is how, like, I get in these unstable things. That's why it's so important for me to go and change my life and get, coping skills and learning how to deal with my issues. Carly is still a young woman who obviously is dealing with something, and she don't know how to deal with all of that shit that's going on. So that's what
And
somebody
we
said we
don't
were talking
even know
about.
if she's in the space that she's allowed to even feel safe enough to say I'm going through something. Because
Right.
let's just be real. A lot of our members, family members, don't accept mental health as
Right.
you say something, the first thing, like you said, oh, you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
You all right. Don't pray on it.
But
Even
that's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
space.
Don't let nobody know.
Yeah,
She probably been crying out.
on her social media was a
Absolutely.
cry for help.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
of those
You
messages
know.
was cry for help. All of those was her identifying something's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It was saying that she was tripping, But just,
And she
I don't know.
definitely
I just
she
feel
definitely
like it's
the
us.
only
It's the
thing
community.
that made me upset is, like I said, as far as what happened, is that we already struggle with being able to get the help that we need,
And
as
so
far
people coming
as
out finding us,
the black women,
looking for us.
exactly. So she definitely need to be educated on, sis, you did some real damage
Right.
for us. It
Yeah.
wasn't just about you. It's
Yeah.
about all
She
of
set us
at
back.
the end of the day.
She set us back a couple of years with that one.
Facts, because it's like you basically cry wolf, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, now after every time something like that happen, are they gonna put the same effort into looking for
That's
another young girl who is
the people that's doing this, that's trafficking people and stuff. This is going to be their thing. Like, oh, they made that up. Oh, you looking for somebody that ain't trying to be found yet. They just did it on purpose.
right?
They wanted to be kidnapped. They wanted to be, they wanted to, they wanted that attention. Like, no, it's some people out here really going through this. Like, it's some people really going through it.
That's the part that
And
I
it's
don't
just
really agree
unfortunate
with.
that
Why she did it like that. But what I do think is, I don't think that she expected it to go that far.
Viral.
She's sitting there,
Right.
she's sitting there the whole time like, yo, these folks called the police. They called the news. Come on, Ma.
Right.
You was just supposed to goddamn be calling my phone all weekend. You know what I mean? And then I pop up on Monday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is you doing? Now you done got all these people in my business. Like, I just wanted to get away.
But she
really lied for attention from her parents and her boyfriend.
Right.
That's why she did it.
Her whole life.
She didn't expect
way
them.
too
Her whole
much.
life is crazy though, because it's going to be all these people. Once you get into the public like that, there is no peace. You know what I'm saying? So
But
she's really going to have to get some help.
well, she obviously needed,
Oh
She's
yeah, she
but
need help in a
yeah,
major way.
she definitely needed. But it's like, just imagine, like, I don't know. I mean, y'all never been unstable about a man, like, cheating on you or
You
something
heard what
like
I
that,
just
and feeling
said. Like, listen, I'm not gonna sit
like
up
you not
here.
loved, or you don't got
I
his
had
attention and all of that
I
shit.
had issues of trying to harm.
I done saw myself plenty of times, like, getting into an accident. Like, maybe if I go to the hospital,
I
then I could call him and be like, come
I
see me in the
thought
hospital. And now
about
you're like,
I,
hey, now I can see if you
yeah,
really
but I
love me. I don't
relate to
know.
hurting myself or
That's
hurting
why I don't
him.
need no man,
Yeah,
child.
I thought
Oh,
about hurting
girl,
and doing stuff to him or hurting myself. I never thought to be like, okay, I'm gonna act like it's a kid walking and a kid missing. I never thought to involve other people. I never did.
yeah,
But
that whole kid
everybody
thing
got
pissed
issues.
me
You know
off.
what I'm saying?
Well, you
Yeah,
gotta think. So she said it was a white kid, so she wanted to, she knew that the police was gonna come out, and she probably just wanted to see, like, again, going back to her Facebook post, she was saying, like, sometimes people just want to feel wanted. You know what I mean? So she probably just wanted to see how fast people respond. I don't know, because
We want
we wasn't
but what
there.
did she really gain from that though? Like she gained national attention, but now everybody looking at her like, what the hell is
that's why I
wrong
feel
with
like
you?
Right,
her life from this now is
right.
like just opened up a can of worms bigger than what she was going through. You was worried about your man fucking cheating on you with a stripper or
With a
something, but
strip.
now you got the whole fucking world looking at you like, yo, you just did something
I'm
way
in love
different.
Well,
with
but then,
strippers.
they also said that she, her mindset, they couldn't even list all the stuff that she was searching on Google, because it's
It
like embarrassing.
showed, yeah,
I mean, the fact that you're 25 years old and you think that you could get an Amber Alert is like, it's like there's a lot
something
of
missing.
stuff that's like,
Yeah, something ain't right.
you know
But
what I'm
why?
saying?
Look, and then you searching how to steal money from a register, girl. If you don't get your life together,
Yeah, was going still
like,
at the Red Room.
what the fuck?
First of all, you should have probably, she had that car. She was about to let the car get stolen. You probably should have just let somebody Toro it. Put it on
Okay,
You know
Toro.
how much money they
right. And
wasted?
get your
Like,
damn money up, girl.
like, you know
What?
how much money they put up to get, to search for her? It was
Right,
like, what they could have used that
right.
money for
That's the
other,
part that's like.
like,
That's why
come
she
on.
definitely needs to go and get the help that she needs,
She better
because
hope
something is
they
up.
don't drop no case on
They,
her ass for
they need
real.
to make her work
That's
for
what she
some type
better
of
Right,
pray for, that they don't drop
right.
organization
no
for
case.
kidnapped kids or
Yeah, that
community or
rest.
something. Her ass need to be right there front and center
And
and
then
working in a
and then she's
place like
talking
that.
about she typing the movie Taken. Like, what was she thinking? Like, what was she thought she was about to call them, have somebody call them
She
with a ransom or something
wanted
like
to.
that.
Girl,
Like,
She
but
wanted a
again,
dangerous disappearance.
this story is so and it's so it shines a light on mental health in the worst way. Like,
Yeah.
like, this mental health is real,
it
and people don't
really
want to
is.
see it for what it is. Just like with my brother was going crazy, and everybody's like, oh, Tears, he just crazy. Oh, dog, he just
No,
crazy.
he
Oh,
was
this is, oh, he just,
ill.
he just a little bugged out. Like, no, he need help. He
Right,
need help.
right.
Nobody
Yep.
sees that shit. Nobody sees
It's
it.
real. I
Nobody sees
can
it.
tell
Yeah.
you
Nobody sees it until
firsthand.
something drastic happens. So who knows that she's been crying out for help. She's been putting these little posts online, hoping that somebody asks her, hey, is everything okay? What's going on? Why you post that? I seen that you posted. Is everything, you good? You need somebody to talk to?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you know what, oftentimes, we all get that, we got that stigma. Like I said, again, it's that black woman
That strong
stigma.
black
Gotta be
woman.
strong,
Right.
gotta go through everything, gotta start acting like, you can't let nobody see you sweat. Oh, I can't
Right.
let them see me down. I gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying? And you were taught this. We was literally taught to basically work ourselves to the bone and slave. We were never taught that, oh, this is actually something that could be taken care of. This is something that you need an outlet for. This is
Well, you
something
can
that you need to talk about.
rest.
We didn't talk about those things. So,
Right.
Yeah.
like I said, you don't get an outlet. All of that shit just builds with you, and you grow up, and it's with you and it grows with you. When it's coming out in how you mother, how you work, how
Everything.
you
Right.
love, your relationships,
Mm-hmm.
your family, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you thinking, like, what's wrong? When it really is, it just goes back to bad learned behavior that you just haven't had the opportunity to be in a space to grow from it, because we stay in the same spaces for so long, you don't even realize like this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. So many people are stagnant and not living their lives or having their dreams because we feel obligated to stay somewhere that we really shouldn't be, or we feel obligated to take care of somebody, or we feel obligated to be there for somebody. And it's just like we're never taught to be there for ourselves. You know, we're never taught. Look at all of us. We all literally had to grow up and to learn how to be there for ourselves. Just imagine had we got that too early. We were taught how to be strong. We were taught how to be independent. We were taught how to just don't rely on nobody, but we were never taught to be emotions for ourselves.
Yeah,
we were never taught.
We wasn't taught emotions.
We weren't taught.
Because I clearly remember being told, "Girl, stop all that damn crying. What you crying for?"
You
because
better save them tears for something worse.
You know what I mean? I'm hurt. What the fuck you mean? Why am I crying? I'm hurting. I'm hurting. My heart is breaking.
I was never taught how to identify my emotions. Like I was never taught that it's okay that you're gonna go through things. Like people be like, "Oh, you just gonna go through some things in life." Like my best friend died when I was real young, and it was like, "Oh, you just gonna go through that." So when my daughter went through that and her best friend died, I was able to tell her these are healthy emotions. This is the process. So her crying and her, reminiscing and her, going back through reflections and all that stuff. That was healthy healing. Yeah. But nobody taught us the healthy healing. Nobody taught us how to identify healthy emotions so that we can even identify when things are going south.
Right.
Girl, let me tell you
that's
something.
What I focus on with my kids. I tell them, all of my kids off the chain, y'all. My kids off the chain.
Listen, let me tell you
talk
something.
about
who kids ain't off the chain.
Okay. I know firsthand on why and how, when it comes to having to put on that face and be who you need to be. I will never forget, like, it probably wasn't even 6 hours probably before my son took his last breath. And I will never forget that day. It's like it now comes back to me. Before it was just like a bunch of fog, but now just certain things that I experienced through that time jump right out me. And I will never forget when I was at my aunt's house. And don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, I knew she was doing what she knew as a Black woman to tell her niece. But let me tell you something. I was batshit loony at that moment. All I knew is that there was a baby alive a couple hours ago, and now there's no baby. And I'm just stuck with these emotions. Like, all these people are around me. I don't even know what the hell is going on. All I know is that my life will never be the same again. And I can remember the vivid words my aunt said to me. These DCF workers about to come here. You need to get yourself together, and you need to be to say whatever it is that you need to say to them so they can know you are right. Because if you don't say what you need to say to them, they're going to take your son. Like, in so many words, you had to straighten up.
Get it together.
Don't show no emotion. That's AKA don't show no emotion.
Because now all I could think of was, oh my God. So here now these people questioning me, asking me all these questions. And I'm like in my head, literally about to fall apart. Like I am literally
unraveling.
But I have to sit there and talk like I had some sense. I had to talk like I actually was coherent. I had to sit there and talk like I knew what was going on. Wow. All I could think about in that moment was, if I just drive myself off of a cliff, I will not feel this pain again. If I could just don't wake up, I will not feel this pain. Because it was the most gut-wrenching thing that I've ever gone through. But I said that to say that it's taught. It's taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, my aunt, she didn't know at the moment that she probably was breaking me way more than it would
any DCF worker
in that space. Right. Because from that moment on, because I heard that, I never allowed myself to process my son's death up until maybe like a couple years ago, because I was always scared at the fact that if I showed any sign of weakness, if I go to any of these classes that they talking about I need help, I denied it the whole entire time. I denied anything being wrong. Do you know how many doctors and people said to me, you need to go talk to somebody? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. The whole time, I'm fine. I'm fine. I never said I am not okay. I'm literally sat around people every day. I cried and I showed emotions, but it was the shame of knowing that I didn't even want to be here no more.
Right.
To say it out loud.
Yep.
It was the shame of feeling like I didn't do enough to take care of, to save my baby. It was the shame of knowing that if I said something wrong, people go look at me differently. And it's so sad that we are programmed to be that way, because you should have an outlet to where you can say, I'm not okay. Right. Because that shit grew with me, and it grew with me, and it's to a point where it took control, and the emotions I had to go through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go through it. So I say that to say that, you know, we have to break that. We have to break that. You know, we have to start creating not just sister circles. We have to start creating family circles. You know what I'm saying? We have to start creating spaces for our people to freely be in it and to say what they need and to say what's going on. Because if not, we just gonna keep passing it on. And these kids cannot grow up thinking that they're supposed to be superheroes all the goddamn time. You know, they need to know that I can have a bad day and I can cry and I could go through my emotion, and it doesn't mean that you're any less. It just means that you're human. That we got to stop dehumanizing real emotions. We got to stop allowing people to dehumanize our own emotions, our family emotions. We got to stop it, because at the end of the day, nothing's going to change if we keep allowing ourselves to stay in the spaces that we allow ourselves to stay in. Like, it's like an emotional cage you're in, and you crying on the inside, and you crying to get out, and you just want somebody you can relate to. That's why I'm here for it now. I tell anybody that. I say whatever I need to be said, because I feel like I am speaking for somebody that is just not ready to say it.
That don't have their voice. They don't have their voice yet.
That probably think, damn, what I'm going through is really crazy, and don't know it's somebody else going through the same thing you going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, real life issues, same stuff you going through. Even like, you know, with the cheating and the heartbreak. Come on now, we all can relate to Carly. Everybody always play the shit down like it's some normal shit. Man,
but heartbreak
will kill you. That shit really kill you.
Listen, heartbreak is very detrimental to my life.
And anybody that pretend and act not. That is not. I feel sorry for them, because that means you done been through a lot of shit, and now you're numb.
Now you're numb.
Yeah, right. And either way it go, it's or trauma.
You never learn how to love.
Right.
Like,
but
I love.
You know
I love hard.
Is that goes back to what just like Candy had asked, like, you know, why are other people traumas and what they go through affecting us so much, and the triggers is because we can identify with it. That's why it affects us so much, because we're identifying with what their trauma or their triggers is doing, because either we have lived through it or we know somebody that has gone through it. So it is going to affect us in a major way, because now we're like, damn, why is this happening again? Or why they do that? That's so stupid. Like with this Carly thing, we identifying with it because we all probably have been cheated on. We all probably have been wanting to get that attention. But the only thing is we didn't take it to that extreme. But we're identifying with it because we've been there. So it's like, damn, I'm mad as hell that she did that. But in the back of our mind, some of us is like, shit, I probably would have done the same thing if I would have been in her mental state at that time.
So then you got to think of like, so like she didn't even feel safe enough to where she can go and get away and get, you know, to be free or to go. Because like she now had to lie, and she had to cover up a space, like where she, you know, like why she probably was saying, yo, I need a vacation. She probably been saying that for a long time. I need a vacation. Oh, I want to go visit my friends, and you know, and where was she? Memphis. Where was she trying to? Tennessee.
In Alabama or
I
some shit. Where
think
was she
something
at?
about Alabama.
No, that's
Alabama. I
where
think
she
she was in
was. But where was
Alabama.
she? Where was she? Googling the train station. It was like in Memphis or something like that, or
Yeah,
Tennessee or
like
something.
I
she
think
probably
so.
just needed to get away and
Yeah,
didn't
she
know
was
how to.
didn't know how to get
Mm-hmm.
away, so she had to come up and create this whole weird ass story just
Mm-hmm.
so somebody can let her be free. And like, so like you got to think, you know, when I heard the story, yeah, okay, I was upset with her, and I was like, girl, what is you doing? You done got everybody going, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and going
Got
crazy and all
everybody
of
going
that. But
crazy.
then, you know, because I know mental health and I know how mental illness works, and I know it's you know, you don't know what the hell you can't really, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you're capable of doing once you
Right.
reach that point of no return. So
Right.
in my mind, the first thing I thought of once she came back and she, you know, then everybody talking shit about her and whatever, you can laugh, you know, because the memes was a little funny or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
They real
now,
funny.
Yeah,
and
they
on
were
the on
funny.
the and on the, you know, beneath the surface level, I now know that, dang, I'm glad that she only did that, because what was the alternative? Was probably suicide. You see what I'm
Suicide. Right.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, hey, would
This shit
we
is
have
deep.
felt a little better if she was no longer here?
Or
Right,
Would we now
have
start
felt
being, you know what
would
I'm
we
right.
have
saying? So
felt
now
better
it's
if she
like,
really did truly get abducted and then we found her dead body? You know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right. So it's still it's a catch-22. It's a little, you know, it's a tight rope to kind of walk on, but I don't like to cast judgment and do all of that, because I don't know what her mental state was.
right.
And I know I done made a lot of decisions, rash decisions, because
Based off
when I get like
of
that,
my
you know,
mental state.
my decision, my mental health go like, you know, what you call it? I'm like a impulsive. I'm
Very,
impulsive. So
Mm-hmm.
very.
I literally, you know, I get to be so much, and then I'm like, I go make a decision right now tonight, like instead of sleeping on it,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, and it's like, then they're like, Shereen, what did you do? Like, what's going on? Like,
And
hey
you
man,
like,
I don't know.
she, I
I
don't
wish
know,
she was there
slip,
last. I wish she was there to talk me off the
slash,
ledge, but
slash,
I'm
but I
young.
done did
Yo,
it
I'm
shut
young.
up. You know, you stay like, I wish you would have talked to me first before you did that, guy. Like, girl, it was
Yes,
above me
it's too
now.
late
It's
now.
yes.
You be like, it's too late now.
It's too late now. So I know that about myself. So when I, you know, hearing her story, I do have a little empathy for her and what her situation might be,
Mm,
because I can't just imagine that she just out of the blue, like, you know what, I'm ready to stir the pot.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no,
Yeah,
that was a
definitely.
lot of stuff
That
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 led
shit was
into that.
definitely boiling for
Oh
her.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It
been
was
boiling
definitely
for a
boiling for
Yes.
her.
minute.
Yes.
That had been boiling for a minute because this baby was researching and everything. That thing been boiling for a
And
minute.
the stuff
Yeah,
that
she
she
was
was researching
crying.
shows that she really wasn't, you know, all the way there, because like,
Mm-hmm.
Amber Alert, come on now.
Like, you did
And
You
then,
what?
done, and you done pulled out all the guns. You like it's a little white kid walking on the side of the highway.
Listen,
Like what? Like you
I
knew
just wanted to
exactly what was
know.
gonna get the attention.
I
Bless
just
her
wanted to know
heart.
what that first cuss out was like from her parents. That's all. I just wanted to know what that first cuss out, because you know they cussed her ass
and
out.
that's why
No,
they
leave
ain't
it to the
letting the
kids.
police talk to her. They probably
Because
just,
they,
She probably got a
because I
black
would have
eye
cussed
sitting over
her ass out.
there.
okay, because it's like, girl, I know you ain't go and make me a national, you know. And then they keep talking about the father where he work, and you know, and yeah, he's a VP in
Yeah.
such and such bank.
Let me
Child,
find out. Let
Like,
me
she
find
wouldn't
out
we
that they
even.
all
pulled
about to
out the
lose our
belt. It was
jobs.
like
We all about to lose our jobs because you wanted to have a little rendezvous for the weekend, girl.
okay.
Come on.
Like,
Girl,
oh, we about to pull the belt out. Your ass ain't getting no whooping when you was little, but you about to get one now.
They about to take the car. They about to
listen,
take her car back like Boosie did his daughter. Child, don't play.
girl. But it is. It's so bad because it's just like, damn, you had all the activists,
Everybody
speaking
was
up for
worried
you.
about
You
you.
definitely owe them an apology.
Yes,
Absolutely. Because,
for
like,
sure.
Yeah.
you owe a lot of people an apology. I hope she takes accountability, at least to say she's sorry for what she caused, because you had the whole damn
Yeah.
world in uproar
The
Right.
whole
praying for you. And I'm
world.
still glad she came home safe.
Me
Don't get
too.
me wrong now. I'm
Right,
happy she
yeah,
came
yeah.
home
Too.
safe. But you definitely got some explaining to do, Lucy,
Right.
because, like, you
Not Lucy.
no, because whether you say I need help or I just did some stupid shit, it needs
Right.
to be
hmm
said, because at the end of the day, you have too many people rooting for you. And like I
Yeah.
said,
And everybody
definitely
was
happy she
wanting her to
got
be
home safe.
safe. Like, yo, what the hell?
But I understand the outrage
Mm-hmm.
from the black community as far as women, because again, it is no secret we are not protected already as it is.
Right.
No,
You know, we
not.
already have to fight so hard for protection. We have to fight for our voices to be heard. We have to fight for, you know, the media to put us out there when we are missing. And there's so many of us that are still missing. So many of us that have not
So
found.
many of them.
So many of us that probably will not be found. And to just
Mhm.
think of all the resources and all the money and all the people that banded together to help her
Right.
as you know, just seeing that was probably the most beautiful part about it, and that everyone really jumped in and worked in really, really hard and shared this story. And you know, that just goes to show you, you know, we can come together as a nation and really, you know, help out
We can.
and make sure, you
Yeah.
know, we just look, if we go that hard for everybody, just imagine, you know, how many kids or how many missing women or how many women of color or whoever has gone missing, and parents and family members are still to this day, you know, grieving the
Right.
loss of them. So that is the biggest part. It's like, girl, you don't even know, like, we already public enemy number one, sis, and you
Right.
just made us
Right.
look
You just
entirely
made
crazy.
us. You just put
So
us on the
You got all
spotlight
yeah,
these
10
other
times.
folks laughing at us.
Right.
right, like, come on now, you can't be doing that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then you involve the child, and you got your parents now got to do these
Mm-hmm.
bogus
No,
ass
you
interviews.
involved a white baby. Like, you know, it's like, you
You
know,
And
didn't
then you
involve
left your friend.
everybody, like for no reason. That in the comments I had said to somebody, now we got to deal with the cry wolf syndrome. So the next time something
Right,
like that happens, people are going to be slow to react because now they're thinking that cry wolf syndrome. Oh shit, Carly did it. She lied about the whole little white baby
right.
on the side of the road being abducted. How do we know that this person is
they're
telling the
gonna be
truth?
like, let's just wait to hear what the police say.
Right,
Let's wait for
right.
their
They're gonna be like, oh,
investigation
here we
first.
go again. Oh shit, it ain't nobody missing, and then now we got two dead bodies. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So it's like, come on,
Yeah.
baby girl, you done did some things just like how Jussie did. That's which is funny, but that's just how Jussie. Like, if somebody be like, oh yeah, so and so got beat up by two people, we gonna be like, show me the video. You know what I mean?
But
I want to
even
see the video.
like even okay, like in regards of mental health, like this is a black man that, you know, in our eyes, you know, you done made it. You done got
Yeah.
to where you know, to a certain level, you know, the sky is the limit for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and do some shit like that. So then it's like,
What?
what is you doing? So like, what was the mental space even with that? See, like that's the thing. What people don't really understand is it's regular everyday people that is
Mm-hmm.
really
Yes.
struggling with their mental health. You
Yep.
don't see it until till some shit go down.
Yep.
But
What it is.
while they're bleeding on you and bleeding on everybody, y'all just like, oh,
That's
that's
just
just
them.
Sheree.
Yeah.
That's
They.
just Sheree.
And
Oh,
that's not
you know,
just
she's
them.
like that. She's
No.
like that.
Here,
Like,
here's
no,
my favorite
I'm
line.
hurting. I'm
Girl, you
miserable.
so
You so
crazy. That's
crazy.
my favorite line. Girl, you
Oh,
so
look at us.
crazy. And you like, no nigga, I'm really is
No,
crazy. Like, what the fuck? Like, help me. Like,
I'm miserable. I'm hurting. Okay, like I need
Because
somebody to help
again, like
me.
I said, what we have to understand is, and that's the conversations that need to be had, and those are the conversations that need to be talked about out loud.
mhm.
We are our state of depression is not necessarily the same as an others. Like I said,
Right,
we are
right.
a community of walking, highly functional people who are
With
dealing with
all
depression
types
and
Well,
of
all
mental
kinds
sadness
of
on an
illness.
stuff.
everyday
All
basis.
types
So
of mental illness. But you know what? We only pay attention to the people whose mental illness turns it's like the schizophrenic ones, the ones that's like super
right,
Yep,
toxic that
right.
you
yep.
like, oh that's your cousin, they've been crazy and this you know, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
even them, like something had to happen to them in order to get to
To
that
get to
point.
that point.
Now
Yep.
there is a part of mental health, you know, where it's like
That's
behavioral
genetic.
health, where it's
Right.
behavioral health, where you know those are the ones that was in the slow classes and you know riding the short bus and stuff like that. Like they had a learning disability,
Disability.
That's
which
different.
caused their behavior
Right.
to
To
like you know
increase because nobody understood them.
they can't
Mm-hmm.
comprehend like you know necessarily what's right or what's wrong or you know whatever that kind of stuff. Like, but there's other things that like with us, like we were born regular people and then life happened,
Yep.
the situations
Absolutely.
in life. See, the thing is the brain is the one part of our body that they can't measure the pain level or they can't do an x-ray or
Nope.
MRI or
No.
you
Nope.
know that kind of stuff, what's going on in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
the thoughts, you know, all of that stuff.
Yep.
So why wouldn't mental health be more important and you know, taken more seriously than other stuff. One thing I do know is that the reason why people with mental health issues can go and get disability check way before a physical disability. Did you know that? It's
Heard of it.
it's automatic. Like when I went to my thing and once I got my diagnosis and all of that stuff, these folks was trying to get me. They like, here go your Social Security and all of that. Once I found out that, you know, once you get on that, you can't like work, you know, you gotta have a certain income and all of that stuff.
Right.
It was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this in my back pocket just in case I do need it in the future. But right now, I'm gonna go out and still try to live this functional life with my mental health, and you know, see how far I can get with that, and get some help with my coping skills and things like that. But you know, but it's like we still knowing that we got to know, like when people is going through shit, like there is no way for us to gauge how deep the level of pain is, how deep the injury is. You see what I mean?
Right.
It be stacked on top of each other. It be stacking.
Yeah.
And that's the shit and that is why it's so hard to live in the present issues and the present problems that we have, because you're still trying to deal with shit that happened to you 6 years ago.
So the thing is with me, I got PTSD. But my PTSD is so complex, meaning I had so many different traumas throughout my life that the doctors can't even pinpoint which trauma causes the issues that I'm having. So I don't have PTSD. I got CPTSD. Like,
what the hell is that?
Complex.
Oh shit.
Complex PTSD. It's a whole nother fucking letter they done added to my goddamn diagnosis. So when I go 7:30, okay, I'll be needing but by me knowing that about me, I'm so grateful that I found that out about myself.
Right.
Because prior to knowing what was going on with me, I was just a loose cannon. It was like, you know, people walking on a minefield. You don't know what button is going to take me to explode.
Yep, you don't know where to stab.
Absolutely.
You don't know
it's
where
like,
to start.
yeah, I didn't want to be like that no more. So the thing is, the reason why I started doing all of this, the reason why I wrote my book, the reason why I did all of that is because I know that I can't be the only one. My brother, we can't be the only ones that's dealing with certain shit.
Right.
You know, like
Other
there's got to
people
be all these
it.
people out there in the world that are dealing with issues that they can't even discuss.
Just
Can you imagine? You can't even discuss it.
You can't even discuss it, and if you do try to discuss it, somebody's gonna shun you. Like,
look at how hard it is for somebody to tell somebody that they need some money, or they ain't got enough money to pay their bills, or they said that's basic problems.
That's basic. Think about when you like, yo, I woke up this morning and nigga, I think everybody is against me. You tell that to somebody and they be like, girl, you bugging. Pray about it.
Right.
So what am I supposed to do?
That's what I'm saying.
You want me to pray about the fact that I think that if I step out this door today, that this person, and this person is out to get me? I'm just, God help me.
Right.
Like, no, I need help. Like,
right. Help.
I need help.
You know, so
it'd be get help.
Well, see, that's a whole nother issue within itself, though. You know what I'm saying? Because the problem with a lot of people, you know, you have to find your balance. You know, you have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, you don't really learn what works for you until you really sit in your own solitude and figure it out.
Yeah.
A lot of us haven't had the opportunity to do that, and I could speak from it. You know, like I tell anybody, anything you hear me speaking about is personal growth. And let me tell you something. He had to put me in it for me to understand why I had to be by myself. And sometimes you do need to be by yourself. Sometimes you have to separate from people, and sometimes you got to understand you the problem. Sometimes you got to understand you the toxic in your life. Sometimes you got to understand you are the stagnant in your life, that you are holding you back, because everybody ain't hating on you. Everybody ain't trying to tear you down. Everybody ain't trying to attack you. You don't have the mindset yet to understand that. Like, you had to let me know that, Ree. A lot of the times we don't know that we are seeing 95% of our interactions with the people we connected to
It's
do
because of
trauma bond. Do a
Yep.
trauma
Trauma
lens.
bond, right?
The
Right.
trauma lens. So
You
it's like,
connect to them. So this
Through
is,
trauma.
and then now this goes back to the beginning of our conversation when it's like the healing journey is a lonely one, because now that you got to break free from that trauma bond, now you don't got nothing in common with
You
this
don't
motherfucker.
have
Like,
nothing
I'm
in
and
common
healing.
with
that's why
nobody
you think
else.
motherfuckers
Yep.
acting
I'm
funny. You
healing.
ain't funny.
You
They
still over there doing the
outgrowing.
shit that I was doing when I was broken, and you ain't even trying to heal. So now I got to walk away from you, and now this shit hurting me because now I got to. We
Right.
got to break up.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
Pretty
just in
much
a
that's it.
relationship. That's a
Yep.
friendship. That's a cousinship, auntieship, and all of that stuff. Because I'm moving. I got shit that I need to do. I got shit that I want to heal from. And you want to
Right.
stay in this comfort zone because your toxicity been comfort to you. Because in
Yep.
order to change that, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to deal with some shit that
And a
you've been
lot
trying to
of
hold
people
back
don't
all
Right.
like to
these
be
years.
uncomfortable. A lot of
No,
people don't
You're
people
like
not
don't like to
willing.
be uncomfortable. People don't like to be uncomfortable. And one thing about people is they do not like to see you grow. Because as soon as you start trying to, I
Who
had
you think
somebody
you is?
analyze, right? I had somebody give me an analogy when it comes to helping people. They was like, if you are at like step number 4 and a person is on step number 1 and you reach down to try to pull them up, what's the chances of you being able to pull them up? Almost slim to none, because they're going to be heavier on that bottom step. But the chances of them pulling you down is about 99 to 100%, because they have their foot grounded on the ground. They looking
snatch you
at you,
back.
you higher, and they're going to try to snatch you back. And that's what we do. We always try to go and grab the people like, oh no, you know what? I've been through that. So let me explain to you what's going on. And this person looking at you like, bitch, nah, bring your ass back down here.
Nah, come down
Come
here,
on back
babe.
down
Come down
here.
here.
You know what I
Like,
mean? And
look
then the
at you
next thing
dealing
you
with your
know, you're
problems
doing the
now.
same
You
thing
know?
that you said you wasn't going to do because you so busy trying to pull this person up, and that person wasn't ready to be
Pulled
pulled up.
up. That's the part. Not
Not,
everybody can go.
not
Not
everybody
everybody
can
even want to
go.
go.
Not
Like,
everybody
That's
can go.
why
Not
it
everybody
is
is supposed to
so,
go.
so important to understand that when you do decide to
It's
transition
going to
or
be
you do
great
start
solitude.
to get to a place, you really do have to get around like-minded people that can
Yep.
relate to you, that can relate to
Yep.
that. Because if you don't, it's going to always feel like you're never going to know if you're actually doing the work. You're never going to actually know if
Right.
you are, because you can't stay in the same places that break you. You can't
No.
stay in the
you
same
can't
You
heal
places
in
can't.
the
You
that
same
can't
place that
heal.
broke
constantly
you. It's
No.
just
can't.
impossible.
It's
No.
impossible because you're
Mm-hmm.
always going to be drawn back to those old ways.
Right.
So it is a must that you get into a community of people who are doing and working towards the same goals that you're working towards. And that could be
Right.
frightening. That could be very frightening
Right.
because you're used to a
Because you
certain type of
scared.
lifestyle. You're
Right.
used to being
Mm-hmm.
around a certain type of people. So now you have to challenge yourself to do something different and
And
to
to be
show
able to
up
do
for
a
yourself
whole,
now.
and everything is new. Everything
Right.
is the
Everything
unknown.
is new.
Everything is unknown.
Everything
Growth
is
is
the
scary.
unknown. So that's the
Yeah,
part
growth
of
is
like
scary.
the pain and pleasure principle, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like we will stay in our pain
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that this situation isn't
Ain't
good
good
for
for
us.
you,
It's
right?
No.
not good for us, but to change the situation, we got to go and get uncomfortable and step outside of ourselves. But that uncomfortability that's over there on the other side of change, where once I get past this uncomfortability, I'm gonna be skating. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna be where I need to be. But it's that bridge. Once you get halfway to the bridge, you looking back and you like, I
Oh,
already know what
shoot.
this is. No, I
Right.
already know what this is over there. I
Mm-hmm.
done dealt. So it's almost like the devil,
Mm-hmm.
you're willing
Mm-hmm.
to stay in this toxicity because you know what this is. You know what
And
is
you come
capable versus going
Right.
over there to the change. You don't know who over there.
You don't
Plus, your
know.
friends ain't over there. Your friends ain't over
Right.
there. Your family ain't over there. So you
Mm-hmm.
like, shit. Nah, I'd rather just go back over there where I know. And now you miserable again. Now you sitting there because you know you was halfway to your goal, but now you
Yep.
around these people, so you got your
But
people back, but you still
and
but you're
miserable.
still
Like
miserable
so.
as
and,
hell.
and what
Still miserable
and
as
what needs to
hell.
be said, when you stumble upon those moments, because like what a lot of people don't talk about is the healing journey, is that there's setbacks and there's stumbles.
There is.
Like people tend to think that, oh, because you're healing or you're transitioning or you're trying to do better, that you're not going to have setbacks.
Oh,
The
no, you're gonna
setbacks is
have
what teaches you.
setbacks.
Oh, for
The
sure.
setback is what teaches you how far you've come, because in
Mm-hmm.
those moments you get
Right.
to challenge yourself. If I'm going to go back to what I normally do, or am I going to stand in this and
Right.
go allow myself to deal with these emotions and allow myself to go through it, because that's what it is. Sometimes we just don't want to allow ourselves to go that far. My biggest fear for myself before I started was that I literally thought that if I stopped and addressed what really, really happened to me, that I would fall apart, and I probably wouldn't even be able to put myself back together, because I felt like if I allowed myself to feel with all those emotions that I was dealing with and trying to run away from, at some point it was all gonna break me down. So I couldn't. It was like it was a control. Like, okay, I'm gonna cry a little bit and then I'm gonna let it go. I find myself now not even worried about the release, because it needed to be released. And a lot of us don't understand that confronting those emotions is the release that you need.
And it will change your life.
You got to give yourself grace. You got to love on those parts of you that you know was not loved on properly.
Right.
And it's okay to say that shit out loud. And it's okay to admit that this part of me was broken, that this part of me I needed a little bit love on. You know, I wasn't taught that way. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us haven't. So it's like you got to be able to give yourself the grace to know that, like, listen, you're going to fall, you're going to stumble, you're going to have those moments, but allow yourself to feel it, because in those moments that you allow yourself to feel it, you find out even more deeper within, like
about you,
about you, exactly. And it's like you reintroducing yourself to a whole nother person. You know, you reintroducing yourself to the version of yourself that should have always been first. You know, should have always been present. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard because you battle with that person. Like, you literally battle, because it'd be like the old you want to go back and do some reckless shit or do something that you know made you feel good in that moment. Wow. The present you that's aware now, that's woke now, that know that ain't gonna get you shit, is constantly talking to you, telling you all the time, like, no, we not gonna do that. No, that's not how we need to react. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I caught myself last night after I did something, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna go back on it, because I didn't even apologize for it yet. But I know I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to check myself.
Hey, that's a start.
Like, damn. And I said, like, damn. That was real immature. You know, you shouldn't even did that. You feel me? Like, so it's like I never would have even told myself that.
You just move on with life. Like, hey, man, it happened. Hey,
like,
they shouldn't play with me.
Really the problem? Hell no.
It is what it is.
I don't even know why you thought no shit.
You
like
shouldn't have played with me like that.
Don't play with it. Don't play with
Don't play with it. But it's like we in a space now where it's like, no, hold up, I was wrong. I handled it, and regardless of what they did to whatever, I'm responsible for my actions and for my karma that I'm putting out there in the world. You know, so it's like, no, you got to double back and like, nah, let me go back and patch that shit up, because I'm not willing to put that shit out there.
If you can't learn to have a healthy relationship with yourself, you will never be able to have a healthy relationship with
anybody else.
With anybody
else, right?
Where people stay stuck, because they sitting there like you. It's all of that evil shit that they doing behind nobody back, that don't nobody even know that you're doing, but you're holding yourself back by doing this shit. Like when they go and, you know, like I had people like for the show, they'll go and put like a thumbs down or whatever. Like, it's like, hey baby, if this ain't for you, then just don't let it be for you. But you done came all the way. You done came all the way over here just to do some negativity. Like, all that's doing is setting you, you know, you putting your karma out there. That's what people don't realize. So then when you see those people, they got these, you know, nothing ever goes good for them. Nothing, you know, they don't seem like they can't ever catch a break. They can't ever catch a break. They, you know, life is just throwing them in, and it's like, no, that's your karma. You got to realize what you're doing to cause this stuff to happen. That's why certain things that I don't even feel sorry for anymore. I used to be the one that would take people out of their karma and would help people, you know, save them from their karma. Like, and it's like, wait a minute, if all of this happened to you, like, you got family, you got all of this stuff. Like, wait a minute, nah. Something is up. Something is up with that. Yeah, something ain't right. Yeah. So, you know, it's about the accountability. Yeah, it's about the accountability for your own journey.
And being accountable for yourself. One of the hardest things and the best things in my life is when I was able to recognize when I was wrong. Because that's one of the hardest things to recognize, is to be like, yo, you was wrong as hell. And
don't it whoop you? Girl,
it really do.
It whoop you behind. It's the hardest thing, but it's the best thing. You be like, damn, that was me. Look, and then
I
when you
was a
sitting in
hot
it,
mess.
you be like, shit, that was
I'm
me. So
so
I got to go
embarrassed.
back and I got to do this and I got to do that. You know what I mean? And then you do find yourself
Then you got to figure
apologizing
out.
to people like, yo, that was my bad. And then you be trying to apologize also.
Right. You like,
Listen, I
hey,
told y'all my
So, you
nephew had me crying the other day when he was saying about a situation that happened amongst us. And they knew me. Like I was straight up and down, like cuss you from the rooter to the
listen,
cooler
know,
and don't care nothing
I'm
about it.
good at
And
it.
I was like,
I'm good at
and
it.
I'm
he
good.
was like, we had to think about it before we was about to have this whole plan and talk about it with you. He was like, we had to think about it. Like, we might have to cuss this bitch out. Like, And I was like, oh my God. I was really that
Because
bad.
they know
Oh,
you.
Oh my
They
shit.
know
Hell
God.
you.
I
yeah.
really
The
was
unhealed
that
version of us was a hot
bad.
ass
I'm telling
mess.
you. But
I
you
was
know where
that bad.
the growth come, and especially with me when I see it, like when my kids
Mm-hmm.
identify it with me. They like,
Right.
these people, they know me better than anybody else.
Yep.
My son 25, my daughter 23. So you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about some 2 decades
Wrong.
of experience
Right.
of somebody who's been there every single day throughout the process. So it's certain things that they do, and they piss me off. Or, and then and then they'll be like, wow, Ma, I remember, whew, you used to go off when this would happen. Like, and I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
so you see, I've been working on me, right? They're like,
Right.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right,
Right.
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 I can
Ooh,
see
back in the
that. I
day.
can definitely see the change with my
Mm-hmm.
daughter.
Back in the
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
day, listen, I ain't know if you was about to,
If you
so
if you was about to spaz out, or
listen,
do we need to
but
run
it's
to the
like,
closet? Like, what's happening?
that was important for me to know that, that the work that I was doing on myself was actually, working. You
It
know
was
what I mean?
it was
Like,
making
and
it
it
do.
was actually being displayed in my life and around the people that, who I love and trust. And it was like, so they're like, yeah, back in the day, you
Mm-hmm.
all,
You was a little something,
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah.
Girl,
And
listen,
then,
that's why
talking
I
about
be
back in the day,
happy. I be
back in the day is
thankful.
only like 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Like,
right, right.
Right, right,
But it's
right,
it's all
right.
about that personal growth for you to be able to recognize
right,
it. You
Girl,
know what I'm
4 5. We talk about 2. That's why I'm
right.
like, girl, bye. He been working on me
saying?
and in me, child. Listen here,
Oh,
because it's been
yeah.
a journey, like seriously. But I cannot be more thankful for the moment that I have now, the present
Right.
moment that I'm in now, because I can look back and be like, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't cool, or
That wasn't
yeah, I
cool.
made some tremendous steps when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
personal growth, and I still go through those moments where I beat
Who
myself up. Girl,
doesn't?
I was sobbing today, like, and
Shoot, girl, I
just
do a
going through
regular
the
cry.
emotions, but
Okay. Sometimes
I
I
process
just need a
it
release. I
differently.
Heck
call it a
yeah.
cleansing. Let me just cleanse this
Okay.
shit and
Let
just
me
let this
cleanse
shit
this right
out.
on out.
Yes,
Let
I
it out.
process it differently now.
Mm-hmm.
I outweigh my pros and cons, and I try to tell myself constantly, today's a not so all right day, but it ain't a horrible life. You know what I'm saying?
You
Because
gotta grant
sometimes,
yourself the fact, the grace that you're gonna have bad days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're gonna have bad days. That's just part of life.
That's it.
I
Things are
stop.
just gonna go.
Because if you don't have bad days and you think that everything is all good, then you on the other level of toxicity, because there's that positive toxicity where you don't want anything to bother you. Oh no, we can't do anything negative. Nah, player, it's a
Right.
balance. Like, you're gonna have some good, you're gonna have some
Right.
bad.
Right. He said,
And it
"Oh
gotta
no,
be
we can't do
normal.
nothing
You know what I'm
negative."
saying?
Yo,
It
the
gotta be, you gotta be able to talk about that shit. And a lot of people walking around acting like they don't have those issues. And it's like, if we talk about that shit and get it out in the open, you'll
A lot of
realize you
people be
ain't really
better.
alone in your
right.
walk. You ain't
But
Yeah.
really
like,
alone
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and going through those emotions and having those breakdowns. I can't even imagine how many other mothers, who go through,
What
the
we going
whole
through.
trying to
Yeah.
navigate through life, work, and like I was beating on myself the other day about the guilt trip of not being able to be home and cook all the time and be with my kids. And somebody had to snap out of it and tell me, like, bitch, you work 7 days a week. You got 2 jobs.
right,
What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
right,
Like, your kids are your kids starving? And I'm like,
right,
no. So
right.
then, like,
So what's the
you
problem?
don't
What's
have
the
the
problem?
lifestyle
Right.
to get up early morning and to make, but you out the door before everybody's up. And it's like, I was like, damn, that is kind
So
of
that's where,
true. Like,
if then let your guilt push you onto, a side hustle and turn that side hustle into
Also into
a
a
big
business,
money.
right?
Yeah. Cause
Right,
listen,
because it's like
all
these,
that does is it start with a thought.
Yeah.
Any business that I started, it started with
The
a thought. Like,
thought.
you know what? I'm sick
Like,
of this shit. I'm about to go do some shit for myself. And plus,
right.
I had an issue with authority anyway. So it was like I knew that, you know, being an employee and shit like that, like didn't work with somebody telling me what to do and dangling my livelihood over me. You gonna tell me how much I could fucking make and how I could go and feed my family? Nah. So that's what. So use that as like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
use
try
it
to
as a
figure out what we're
catalyst.
gonna do. Yeah. We gonna
Right.
get
Use
our
it as a catalyst.
we gonna get on our business call and we gonna collaborate on some, you know, where we
Something else.
gonna, you
Right.
know, get this
Yeah,
business
because if
shit
you
together.
right,
Cause
because if you
listen,
right.
feeling that
that's
way,
all.
right, if
I'm
you feeling that way and that's
ready.
something that you want to do, girl, you better speak it so that you can see it. Like, you know what?
Period.
I'm over it now. I'm over this 7 days a week.
Yeah.
God, send me my
Oh,
four
I've been
days a
on
week
it,
so
girl.
that
I've
I
been
can
saying
doggone
it. I've
cook
been
for
like,
my
Lord, you
kids.
know, I'm going
Manifest
through.
it.
Manifest
I am. I've
Manifest
been
the
it.
hell out
going.
of your life, girl. You better manifest your life.
Cause
You
look
better
at,
speak
you know,
it.
I mean, honestly, Kai, like look at me. I got social anxiety, and that's something that I've had all this time. And I didn't know I could be talking to people. Definitely not doing this. Definitely not coaching. And then it's like, you know, there's something that I wanted to work on. I wanted to do this. Like it's like no, this
Right.
shit is holding me back.
Yep.
That social anxiety is holding me back from the shit that I really need to do, and I really want to do. There's
Right.
people
Yeah.
out there that need to hear my story, that need to know that there's somebody like them that's out there that's actually doing it and coming up out of it. You see what I'm saying? So I had to fight against myself in order to make this shit work.
Yeah.
So it's like
Right.
there's something that you have to figure out what's holding you back, what's called, you know, and then, you know, make it happen. We got the group, we got the, you know, we got the team.
Right.
Let's
Now
go.
you
Let's
open
go.
your mouth and
Like
be like, look, this is what's up. This is what I
this
want. This is what I
podcast. This
desire.
podcast started as a thought back in what was it, February or March?
Right.
February or March, I had the thought, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do a podcast. I didn't know how I was going to go about it. How am I going to go about doing a podcast when I got social anxiety? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, and it was you who inspired me. That's like, you know what? Boom. I know I can do one now because I know I got Kai. I didn't even have anybody else there. I was like, I got Kai. That motherfucker, she know how to get them words out. You know, where I struggle,
And
it's
I
like
was
she know how to.
like, really?
Yeah.
You want me to talk? Girl,
She was
I
like,
can't be
me?
telling people. But
Me?
it's
Look,
what it
and
is. You
and
know,
then
I'm
here I
here
go. I
now. So
just
it's
want to be
like,
a guest, and she like, oh no, you on the panel.
No, you're part of this. You're one of us. You're
Okay.
you're in. You're in. You're one of us.
but you know, you brought that out of me. And it's like now I'm always ready to talk and tell my story because it's like, you
Yeah.
know, I do believe that now. You know, I
Yeah.
understand the importance of being able to speak out and talk about the things that really do not get talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it ain't about, you know, bashing or downing. It's more like I'm willing to be a blessing to somebody else by talking about my lesson that I
Right.
had to learn and the things
Right.
that I had to go through. You know, I'm willing to expose my truth because at the end of the day, me exposing my truth can't do nothing but let somebody else know or understand that you're not the only person that is struggling
Struggling. Yeah.
and going through this. You know what I'm saying? And listen, like I tell people, I remember being a very young age going through certain things that I couldn't understand about myself, but I understand it now, you know, and it's all in the journey, you know, it's all in the journey and where I'm going with it now. So,
I
you
believe.
know, I ain't afraid of it.
I believe that this was all in our destiny. When people go through things and we live, you know, when you live a challenging life and you had to, you know, go through shit that you feel like, oh my gosh, why am I going through that? Why? When you see in other people they're not dealing with that, you know, I think those are like we are chosen. Like we
I
had to go through certain things
always say
because
that.
we are strong enough to come out on the other end. One, but not just come out on the other end. We were also had the courage to go and tell our story and get on a panel like this in front of people we don't even know who's logging in to do that and able to share our story with others in hopes that we can encourage somebody else to, if nothing else, keep going. You know what I mean?
Healers,
Don't give up. You
Don't
you
give
you're
up.
worth it. You know,
healers being healed.
all of that.
I
You
always
know,
say that. I always say
so
some of the most broken people I always say are healers that
Yeah.
need to be healed
yes.
or healers being healed because when you realize some of the most broken people, they go out of the way to give people what they never
Right.
experienced.
Yep.
Right.
They go
I've
out of
always
their
been that way.
way
I've
to
always
love
been
Yep.
that way.
people.
That's why I have a
Even if
big
it
heart the way that
literally
I do.
kills them, if it
Yep.
literally hurts them,
Yep.
they go out of their way to be of some type of service, to give some type of substance, to be there, because we know all too well how it
what it
feels
feels like to not
how
have
it feels
right,
not to feel love,
right.
how it feels not to feel worthy, how it feels not to feel beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I say that all the time, like, you know, we're healers being healed, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of the stuff we give, we can never give to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's where I'm at, you know, like.
So, but then, you know, back in the day, so this is part of our human evolution, though. So, like, you know, back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers, when we was just, you know, had swords and, you know, fishing with the swords, or catching the wild boar or whatever over, you know, in the caves with a campfire, roasting their meat and shit, you know. Those people, somebody had to leave that village, leave that comfort zone, go out into the world,
and find
go and
something
find
different.
some new, you know, learn something else, learn some new skills, find the elixir, and come back to the village and bring it to and heal the people and teach them so they all can grow. So somebody was responsible for doing that. So then I never understood why I had to live this life and why I had to go through the shit that I had to go through and suffer the way that I suffered. It's like, why? Poor me. You know, like, I'm watching everybody else thriving and all of that stuff. And it's like, why did I have to go through that? I didn't understand my purpose until, like, these last couple of years. It's like, oh, duh. No wonder.
Like that's it right
No
there.
wonder I had to go through that. I
He
had to
needed
go
to
back
use you.
and
He
come
needed
back
to make
with the
sure you
elixir.
was ready for what he needed to put you in front of.
I had
Because
to
sometimes we have to go through certain things so we can be able to present those things to certain people. We have to know that we
you
can
got to
get
have
through it. We have to
first-hand
know.
experience. You ever seen a doctor who come and try to tell you about your newborn baby ain't even got no kids? Bitch, what you about to tell me about this baby?
Right.
You know,
You
I'm
can't
coming
tell
to
me
bring my
nothing
baby
because
out
you
of.
don't know nothing.
You don't know nothing. You can't teach me nothing that you don't know. Something that a book done taught you, girl. If you don't cut it out, you know what I'm
We
saying?
got a
So
hard not
this is
life.
why we got first-hand experience. We are mastered in this area because we've come out. We are survivors.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So now we can go and talk to somebody else who are in that beginning stage that we done already made it out of, and coach them through it. Like, hey baby, get your shit together. Hey, come on now, come on. That's how you do that. You go up and throw. Because listen, the thing is, the problem that people be having with me now, especially the people that know me, like, I was in a low place. I was the underdog. I was the one that everybody was on top of. I was, or everybody was doing better than. I was the lowest of the low. Like, you know, I'm watching everybody win. Everybody. So that term, like, stay down for the come up. Baby, that should have my name on it. This should have my name on it. So that's why I don't feel no kind of way when it's like, you might think that, you know, I might got lucky and woke up one day and all of a sudden, like, no, I've been working hard at this. I've been sitting down.
I had to work at
stayed
this.
down. I done stayed down and waited my
That's
turn.
why I don't hate on no woman that be shining and taking the beautiful pictures of herself and posting. Like I be telling people,
you don't know what
that woman had.
You don't know what it took for them to get there.
Like,
right.
You don't know what that pain looked like. You don't know what that. You don't know what the person had to do to arrive.
Right.
I know some of them is for attention seeking or whatever have you, but like I said, you can't blame somebody.
Even attention seeking, that still comes from somewhere. That comes from, that stems from somewhere.
That stems from
maybe
somewhere.
your daddy didn't, even if you know, I know people with daddy issues that had their dads around. You know, that the daddy didn't, tell you they love you enough or all of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a real thing. It's
actually a real thing.
We done
everybody who tuned in with us tonight.
Yes, thank you for everyone who tuned in.
Joined the conversation, and we hope to see y'all again. You know, follow us though. The Reason
we
Why
got a
podcast.
lot of thumbs up for people saying they want to see us once a month.
They want to see us come back.
And for the men out there, just to let y'all know, tune in.
Y'all can tune in too, honey.
This is not those we bashing y'all, talking about
we ain't bashing no men.
We ain't bashing no men.
We ain't bashing no men, because one thing about me, too, I love me some men.
We on that. Let me ask my husband. Let me ask
my husband if that's okay. I'm ready. I'm submissive ready. Okay. We ain't bashing no goddamn men over here.
Listen, we're gonna talk about it. Open and honest.
We're gonna talk about it for
everyone and everybody that's struggling and dealing with everyday stuff, whether it be present trauma, past trauma. It needs to be spoke about as a community so we can get to the root of the issues that we all struggle with. men and women. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's really just learning the tools to get to where we need to be.
Yes.
We all got a story to tell, and all of our stories are simple.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All of our stories are similar. We all can relate to one another in regards to whether it be childhood, teenage life. We all have something to add. You know what I'm saying? And we
Yep.
all gain something from that, whether we know it or not. We all gain something from them struggles, from that pain, from that story. And, it is a disservice to, ourselves not to give those gems to someone else who's struggling with it and maybe trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about uplifting and giving and pouring back into who poured into me. So, that's all I really want to do. I want to awareness, make it aware that, these are the conversations that need to be talked about. Nothing too dumb, too crazy, too wild. No, nothing. We talking about it on here,
Right.
all issues,
All issues.
Yes, all
especially in
issues.
every area of our lives.
All
That's
issues.
right.
So
Areas.
make sure y'all send us, DM us, send us notes or whatever if y'all want to hear, something on the
Topics.
show. If y'all want
Right.
to,
Right.
some people may not want to be on the show and they may want to,
Ask
send us
the
a note or
question.
whatever to read. We can read your story.
Absolutely.
We definitely want y'all to
Yeah.
engage more into this because we're doing it for y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, this at the end of the day, it's to show other people that they're not alone.
That's
So that was
right.
my biggest goal for writing my book, for starting the podcast, for everything is like I wanted to be the person that I needed when I was going through my journey, and I
Absolutely.
found I found
Absolutely.
I found some dope ass women that wanted to help me, get that
Hey,
get that point across. So listen, this is we
let's
here we
do
here
it.
to
Let's
show y'all,
go.
So again, thank you guys for
For joining
tuning in
us.
with us.
Yep.
And
The reasons
make sure y'all
why.
come back. Go to
Yeah, come
YouTube.
back.
Go to YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure y'all, watch our videos and stuff there. We're actually gonna post this video on YouTube. But go and engage with us. Send us some comments. Send us
Yep.
some notes. Tell us what we're doing. Tell us what you think we
You
could
want to
improve
see?
on.
Yep.
Some topics you might want us to talk about. That
Absolutely.
that's deep in our community and that's going on. I get a lot of men that's like, hey, y'all talk about this and talk about the baby mamas that want us to pay child support and all, so send us some topics, let us know what y'all want to hear, and
Right.
just stay engaged and tune in with us.
Tune
Right
in.
now.
We'll cover every topic
We
y'all
sure
come up with.
will.
And you can remain anonymous if you want
Right.
to. You can send something in.
Absolutely.
You don't
Right.
necessarily have to have your name and we'll read it out.
Right.
And you'll know it's you, but
Right. You would know it's
we'll
your
get to it.
letter. But we ain't trying to put you on the spot. The people who ain't ready, they ain't ready. And we ain't trying to, force you to be
Right.
ready. But if you want to tell your
Absolutely.
story and get your story out there and get, a certain topic or, something that you want us to cover, like we'll definitely do that. And what I also want to do is start, promoting businesses on our shows and stuff like that. So if you have a business you want us to shout out, stuff like that, just hit us up. Just let us know what you
Feel
want.
free.
If you go to the
Absolutely.
YouTube page, go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. But on that same page, at the top of the page, there's a link that says be on the show or be a part of the show. And there's like a
Right.
questionnaire and stuff there. So you can go and type your letter, type your question, whatever it is, type your comment or your critique or whatever it is, and you can let us know there, or you can DM us. But again, thank you guys
Thank
for
you
hanging out
for
with us. We really
joining.
appreciate it. We'll do
Appreciate
this
Amen.
you.